to confuse the public about science, to confuse scientists about science. What about
who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
But guess what? We got a lot to do. Gotta say hi to me. We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway.
If we look at a subset of smokers who are otherwise unable or unwilling to quit, they're going to continue to smoke that pack of cigarettes. Half of them will die prematurely later in life from that decision. If we could get all of those people to completely switch all of their cigarettes for one of these non-combustible products, that would be good for public health.
Well, hello, and welcome back to me, because I wasn't here last week. How in the hell is everybody doing? I see there's people here, Toasty and Addie and Michelle and Mallory and Steve and Nick. Look, the bald-headed old guy from Florida's here. Aloha and welcome. Yes, I survived the medical procedure last Friday, so we're good to go. And Andrew just popped in. Hello, Andrew. Yeah, I survived. Apparently, they sent some stuff to a lab, but I haven't heard anything back yet. So we'll just we'll go as we can. We can however it is we can take that. But anyway, Kevin is in the back room, and there's been some shenanigans this week, and there are some show notes, and that's just our starting off point tonight. But Kevin is already pointing at the camera like this, so let me let him in.
You people,
Kevin, did you miss our friends last week?
I miss them dearly. I didn't miss you. So if we take a subset of smokers, then if you figure out that the scientists can't do science, then yeah. Okay.
Well, no, I think the scientists can do science. They're just not. They're not doing it properly and ethically, and they're having some shenanigans. I'm going to use the word shenanigans.
Yeah, your ass is reamed and everything's good, because there's going to probably be an ass joke or two.
I did get felt up pretty seriously last Friday. No, they actually took two things out, and they said that they looked okay, but they wanted to send them out anyway. So they said they would call me. I didn't even need to come in for an appointment. They would call me with the results, and they have not done that yet. So I did make sure that my life insurance policy was paid up, just in case. So what did you do with your 2 weeks off, Kevin?
I ain't done shit. I've progressed zero. In fact, I've gone backwards. Just trying to be a good grandpa. That's
you did the whole 2 steps forward, 3 steps back thing. Is that what you did?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the 3-step, 2-step back.
Yep. Steve, they took 2 of those polyps. But anyway, as an old man, I'm not as old as Kevin, but as it'll be all right. Middle ground old man. I don't want to say middle age, but 51 years old, I guess that that requires some maintenance, and that's one of the things that I had to do. Did you see Troop just showed in, and he's like trying to be all worldly by saying chow. I already I made tacos tonight. I had pulled pork tacos for supper.
We got the Steve, we got the Mallory, we got the Nick.
All the cool kids are here, and there's actually somebody watching on the Rumbles. The Rumble is actually working. There's a little bit more latency to the Rumble than there is to the YouTube, but we are currently kicking off on all cylinders here,
Yeah.
and we're working on all the channels.
So my only question is, could you have really done a show last week, or would you have just been an uncomfortable prick?
I actually was okay. So to go ahead and tell the story. I got
not the whole story. I don't need to know it all.
Not the entire, but so I did the whole horrible prep thing, which we won't go into.
Yeah.
We got to the surgery center. The nurse that came in blew out 2 of my veins trying to stick me for an IV. They had to bring in another nurse, and the first nurse blew out the veins here in the back of my hand and here on my arm. So the second nurse came in and got me right here on the wrist. It was
balls in the room.
Yeah, it was very annoying. So then my wife came in, and we're in like the stage 1 area. So then they come and get us and take us to stage 2 area, which is right outside the operating room. And the operating room nurse comes out, and my wife knows her.
Oh, good. That's good.
So they're chit-chatting, and
your eyes.
I could take the day off. He could have handled this all by himself. And the other nurse, the anesthesiologist nurse, the nurse anesthetist, she came in. She goes, "He's not supposed to drive after this. Don't tell him that." So they wheel me in, and they're playing Guns N' Roses in the surgery room. So I'm joking around with the nurses, and I'm like, "I remember when this song was new." I'm that old. And then one nurse says, "I remember when it was new too." And I'm like, "You're not old enough to know this song." But then I turned to the nurse that was my wife's friend, and I said, "Now you have to stand on this side, because I don't want you telling everybody that y'all know that you saw my ass." So anyway, I'm reminiscing about Guns N' Roses, and the nurse anesthetist is putting the mask on. She's doing stuff, and I'm talking about Guns N' Roses. And the next thing I know, I'm talking about Guns N' Roses, and they're like, "We're done."
Yeah. Have a nice day. Get the fuck out.
This is so much better than the first time I had one of these where I woke up in the middle. This is so much better experience. But then
everything closed up mostly.
Then I got dressed. I got in the they didn't even wheel me out. It used to be the hospital, they had to wheel you out in the wheelchair. They're like, "Get dressed, we'll see you later." So I got dressed and I started walking towards the car. My wife's like, "Can you drive?" And I'm like, "I feel fine." So
did you drive?
I drove. And I drove. She says, "I'm hungry." I said, "Well, let's go get some Chinese takeout." Got Chinese takeout, went to the house, ate Chinese takeout. I said, "Okay, I'm gonna slack for a little while." I went laid on the bed, and 4 hours later, I was like, "Oh shit, I'm awake." I could have done the show,
yeah.
But anyway, it was
the wife's in the waiting room, like, "Let me in."
Well, the doctor. And the doctor and I actually went to the same college, and we didn't know it. So
that's good.
Yeah. But other than that, and the air conditioner went out, and I had to get the air conditioner fixed yesterday.
Yeah.
I haven't even got the bill for that yet. He said, "I'll send you an invoice." Haven't got the invoice yet, so I'm concerned. I'm concerned.
Well, you didn't trip on the sun this week, did you? Because it's
no, I went back to work Monday. It was 110 degrees outside yesterday.
My goodness.
It was a natural 100, but then the real feel, or the, what do they call it, heat index or whatever,
the inflated number,
110. I'm like,
that's the
is
problem.
It 100 or 110? Just let me know.
That's the problem. You need to tell me what the fucking number is and shut up. Not you, them, those people, them. Because
you tell me to shut up all the time.
Gaslighting isn't real, huh?
I said, but you tell me to shut up all the time.
See, Steve said it's 110 today. That means it's 110 on the little red bar, on the little usually white thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what that means. Hot as balls.
So I'm going to go a little chronologically to start out here, Kevin.
All right. Okay. Then.
So the day that I was at home before the procedure. So Thursday of last week, I caught this video from the WHO, and it had nothing to do with vaping, but I'm fairly concerned because, you know, if it's not about this, it's not about vaping, but it is about an organization that is, you know, bought and paid for by billionaire philanthropists, Bloomberg. It still concerns me. So actually, there's a couple. I got a couple good ones in, but I'm trying to find this tweet. Actually, it was a forward. Where am I at? I don't even know where I am, Kevin.
I don't know what to tell you. What the hell was that?
That's one of your things. Oh, here it is. I found it.
I know.
So,
I don't know what it means.
So let me present this screen of my tweet, and then we'll go to the linked tweet so that you guys can see, because we will be playing the video from the WHO in part, if not in all. Now, is everybody just seeing a big blank box there?
Yep.
Why is that? You know, it's
there.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. All right. So, you know, I like to be completely transparent with everyone. So, you know, I said I'm having a medical procedure tomorrow that requires that I flush my digestive tract completely. Lots of laxatives and clear liquid diet. And you know, when I tried to tag the WHO in this tweet, when I tried to it would not let me. Like, it was trying to hide.
It's a glitch in the Twitter world. I think I get that. I was tagging you, and it did it a couple last week. Dude.
So, you know, I said the WHO is full of this stuff currently filling my toilet. If they think we will hand over that much control, if you think about this, is about anything other than control over the people, you are wrong. So here is the linked tweet, and this is from Paul Hookham, who's got a really nice Ronald Reagan icon there. It's Ronald Reagan making the devil horns, which I really respect. So it says here, Dr. Meryl Nass explains how the WHO proposed, I don't know if I should say this word, pandemic treaty will enable the WHO to take over jurisdiction of everything in the world by saying that climate change, animals, plants, water systems, and ecosystems are all central to health. Now, there's that word.
Carte blanche.
Pandemic word. Now, Kevin,
what?
Has public health people said that vaping is an epidemic in the United States?
Yes.
Has public health also said that youth vaping is an epidemic in the UK?
Well, yeah, it's all in the wording.
And have they also said that vaping is an epidemic in India and in Thailand and in Vietnam and the Philippines and Australia?
It seems to me that the English language has been bastardized by these cocksuckers.
So
that's what needs to be said.
So if all of these people, all of these public health organizations throughout the world have all now used the word epidemic when it comes to youth vaping, even though we have the numbers and we know, according to the National Youth Tobacco Survey, vaping numbers are down. Tobacco cigarette smoking is down. Now, marijuana use seems to be going up, but you know, it is what it is. Now, if all these different countries are using the word epidemic, and a pandemic is an epidemic that's in more than one place,
out of control.
It's in multiple jurisdictions in multiple countries. If they're willing to, and I'm going to play this video, this is quite serious. if they are able to grab this much power over such a thing as an actual viral epidemic, pandemic, whatever you want to call it, and all these other people are now using the word epidemic in other countries to discuss or to describe youth vaping, how much of a jump is it to say that they could do or might do the same thing for that? So
it's not a stretch.
I don't think it's a stretch at all. So let me hit this.
We're undergoing a soft coup. And the idea is to create a whole new set of laws and ignore the existing human rights laws and other laws under the pretext of pandemic preparedness and the biosecurity agenda. The WHO is developing through all its nations, but with the WHO directorate in the United States in charge, a pandemic treaty and amendments to the existing international health regulations.
So as of now, Kevin, the World Health Organization has 2 treaties, international treaties. They have their actual founding treaty, which all members of the WHO have to sign. And then they have their World Tobacco Treaty, the COP. So the Council of the Parties on Tobacco.
And both just as a side note, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you like to do so, I believe they both specifically say human rights are within. Completely.
Yes. In the founding documents of the WHO, there is a human rights section. And one of those things is the human right to make choices for yourself, educated choices for yourself about health. Now, as part of their tobacco treaty, which there's a very long Twitter thread on my Twitter discussing the articles of that particular treaty, and one of those articles identifies that the WHO must recognize harm reduction strategies when dealing with tobacco, which they have failed to do. And you know how they do that, Kevin, is just by saying that, well, that's not harm reduction.
Right. Yeah. It's all in the wording, isn't it?
Yep.
That will remove the human rights protections currently embedded in the IHRs, will enforce surveillance, censorship, get rid of freedom of speech, require governments to censor and only push a single narrative.
So we already know, and so right now, Kevin, we're having a spike here where I live. There's currently a spike of that thing that I cannot say the name of here.
Okay, all right.
We're having a small spike, which is expected. There are 2 predicted spikes per year, and we are in the time frame of one of those predicted predicted yearly spikes in that thing that we can't talk about because now we're on Rumble. I could say it over in Rumble.
Everybody can talk about it, but nobody's allowed to talk about it here.
I can't say it here.
I know.
So, and by the way, since I'm on Rumble, I have to do something different at the end of the show so that it will be different than the one that's on YouTube. So after I finish the show here, we have to go over there for 5 minutes so that so that show is different than this show. You know what I'm saying? So this, because we're monetized over there, actually.
Gotcha.
So yeah, after we're done here, we're gonna close. We're gonna say goodbye to everybody that doesn't want to go to the Rumble, and then we're gonna go to the Rumble for a few minutes, and we'll talk about something that we haven't talked about over here, just so that show is different.
Ooh, it's like a teaser.
Yeah. So
okay, good night, folks. We're gonna go talk about stuff that you don't get to know.
That also will, maybe get a couple more people to go over there and click on the button so that
no more shit.
Well, you don't have to. You're already here, but
I'll be on there with you, I suppose.
Yes, for 5 minutes. Just
that's all they're going to get out of me.
the length of time that it takes us to talk about whatever it is that we're not going to talk about here. So just forewarning. No, I wouldn't do that to everybody. I would say we would wait and do the Vape Cats tweet of the week over there. I couldn't do that.
No, we can't do that. We could do one.
We could do a special one.
There you go.
So now you have to go and quickly pick out another one.
I can do that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going on this lady here, crushing the WHO.
Also, we will be subject, if they can make this work, to vaccines developed in 100 days, which the organization CEPI is planning to do. And one of the people who founded CEPI was Jeremy Farrar, who is now the chief scientist at the WHO, to bring this forward. Other things that...
So the rest of this is about the thing that we can't actually talk about. So we're not really going to talk about that. But we've already heard her, claim and say that the WHO is working on surveillance, which we already knew that. And, I got a story later on that's really going to get your gander up about spying on kids, Kevin. In the bathroom.
It's a thing. I know.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but I know.
Yeah. It's in the show notes, actually. But, so yeah, they're already working on ways to reduce human rights, to increase government surveillance of citizens, to require signatories to lock down their populace, and to force, things, that I can't say the word that Addie just typed in the chat room.
Their will.
So how hard is it for me, it seems very simple for them to take those powers that they are going to already try to give themselves.
They already did once.
Over. Really? Just shift that over to the cop, to the tobacco. There's different cops, but I'm talking about the tobacco cop. They have a global warming cop and environmental cop. They have different ones, but anyway, the global Framework Convention Treaty on Tobacco Control, FCTC, that one. That's what they're gonna. That, in my opinion, and I'm pretty good at making predictions. They're going to try. Because they'll have the authority to do it once they do it on this big thing. They're going to try to do it on everything. Because they want. This is all about control.
Well, duh.
And if these people actually think they're doing it for your good, they're doing it for you. You're not capable of making choices for yourself. You're not smart enough to make choices. We have to do it for you because we want to be your mommy and daddy. We want to be.
Amen, Addie. Can I get a hallelujah? We probably can't talk about that either.
I hear. Now this is weird though, Kevin, because that particular topic you're talking about is the pew-pews.
Yeah.
I've seen people on live streams make the claim that they can't show pew-pews on their channel because they're afraid their channel will get blocked. But then I find tons of other videos with pew-pews in them.
There's thousands of instructional videos and
on the YouTubes, and I'm like, how?
Hundreds of thousands, probably.
Where are you getting this? Because I need to know if it's a real thing or not. Not that I would. I mean, for me, our topic does not really lend itself to much discussion on pew-pews, but
it's a freedom. But it's
I've never felt tempted to go into the closet and pull out a pew-pew just to show you guys.
No,
but
not really. I got my.
I have pulled out a machete. I have one right here.
About as far as I go.
I mean, that's really all the effort that I'm willing to put forward is to reach over here and grab something that's within arm's reach.
That's my I love me wall right there.
Yeah.
Just one thing.
Well, there's no pictures of you, so.
Well, My Beatles, you got an answer.
Logan is there.
He's right up top.
Yeah, so that would be more like I Love Logan.
It's yeah.
So that you say it's
and
I
got
Love
some
Me.
friends over here. These are all my friends, right? That's all I got.
I had a patient ask me today if I would go to the gun range with him, and I said it wouldn't be appropriate until after I've discharged you.
Yeah.
So we can't socialize
Right.
while you're a patient. And he's like, well, this gun shop that I do a lot of business with is opening a new range, and I want to put you on the list so that you can go.
Oh, well, see, we can be friends. I need to be removed from this case.
I'm currently.
This guy's an idiot.
I've said it on the show. I'm currently in a embargo. I'm currently embargoed from purchasing new pew-pews, and somebody that's in the chat room right now, private messaged me. What does that mean? And I'm like, the wife says I can't buy another one. That's what that means.
What she doesn't know won't hurt you.
Oh, she would know. She would know. I think she knows how many there are, but she doesn't know what they are, but she can count.
They all cost $20.
Yeah, that's
So, yeah.
But we're just gonna go right into the first three things we're talking about are all WHO stuff. So you just get used to the sour taste in your mouth until we're done, Kevin.
That's what the face is for.
Yeah. So
just
there he goes. Woo! So it says this is Benjamin Mason Meyer. Yeah. It says here, whether e-cigarettes or hashtag harm reduction depends on whether harm is measured at the individual or population level. WHO argue they are following the science. They're just looking beyond the individual smoker and considering it from a whole of society approach. Now, Kevin,
what
if you say are in a country and you have 7 million people that use this product to save their lives, to reduce, dying from cancer, from heart disease, from strokes, from all the horrible things that cigarettes can do, and you have what did I say? 7, 8, 10 million, whatever. Those millions of people.
7.
Yeah, it's about 7 or 8 actually. But okay, 8 million people. That is no longer an individual approach. That is a nice size. It's not the entirety of society, but it is. If you think about the number of people that are indirectly affected by 8 million people no longer smoking, so you have to bring into the view their kids, their families, their friends who will not have to suffer because 8 million people aren't going to die.
Yeah.
Now, suddenly, that becomes an even larger number. You would say 8 million people, each of them have 4. If we just say 4 people that love them, that care about them, that's a small estimate, but 4 people, then you're looking at 36 million people that it affects.
Right.
And then you're going to consider all of the people that will not smoke because they know somebody that vapes, and somebody says to that person that's potentially a smoker, hey, this is safer than smoking. It will help you. Then you include another 8 million people, Kevin. And then the 36 million people that now you're looking at 72 million people. That becomes a much bigger chunk, Kevin.
Right. I'm going to share the Victor screen real quick.
Is it pertinent to the actual topic that we're talking about right this minute?
Well, population level.
Okay. Right.
It brought on the moment in my head because there was a little survey that Dr. Farsalinos and his team did quite some time ago about flavors. Right now,
I'm in there somewhere.
I'm in there. You're in there. Probably just about, if not all, of the people in the room are in there, unless they weren't here yet. So there were 69,233 people that took this huge, the biggest ever survey. And I am not a mathematician, so I'll cut to the point by scrolling up with the right Victor screen here.
Can you scroll?
Vlad,
you know how to do that?
Vlad did my math for me.
Oh, well, thank God. It might actually be accurate then if somebody else did it for you.
69. Well, Phil is the other rodent that can check my Vlad's math. They can argue amongst themselves. 69,233 people. Now think about your survey that you take the kids and you ask them silly questions with their brain-addled little heads. And would you believe that 69,000 odd people, very important people, by the way, becomes extrapolated into 5.5+ million people? So it's an important thing to extrapolate, but they do it selectively, and that's what I was trying to get at.
Right.
For your thing. Anyway, I had no point really.
Yeah, I'm just not. I'm just currently reviewing the latency over here. Just to it's not too. Well,
it is a little weird, isn't it?
Well, no, I'm Rumble's a little behind the YouTube, and then we're live, so it's about the latency to Rumble's about 10 seconds, but
10.
Nobody's over there. Nobody's over there chatting. There are apparently 6 people watching, but they haven't chatted. They haven't chatted yet.
Okay. All right.
But that's all right. I'm not. I would like to actually do some stuff over here on the Rumble, because I can say more things over there than what I can say here.
Ooh.
They don't filter you. They don't change your. Oh, see, Mallory is in both chat rooms, so she just typed because it's an RTM or RMTP, I can't add the chat over here. So I'm doing this right now. Playing tennis.
Yeah. So back to the control of the people.
The control of the people. I mean, again, if Benjamin Mason Meyer, whose tweet we were looking at, says that WHO is focusing on the whole of a society.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it's there it goes. There's a bit of a lag.
Yeah, we got it.
Ashley here, she says, we're working on a series of stories on e-cigarettes, which are tripping up policymakers around the world. From the divide between science and policy, questions of regulation, to the ever-present big tobacco. I would like people to quit using the idea that big tobacco is some overwhelming monolith in the vaping industry. I mean, they make some money in the vaping industry. Don't get me wrong. Let them do their thing. But they're not the only people that are in this. And every time I see that, you're just falling prey to big tobacco. No, I have never used I have an Enjoy here, but that wasn't big tobacco until after I bought it. Right. But I don't actually use it. I just have it here to show you guys.
Did you read this piece, Patrick?
I did.
Okay.
I think.
Then you will be more versed than I, because she makes a very good point in the tweet.
I'm fairly sure we discussed this. That one of the things that you sent me about Colin Mendelsohn, we actually talked about that last week, or not last week, but the week that we were on the air.
Yes. Yeah.
But you sent me a link to something that we had already covered, and I'm like, bro, we talked about that. But so while we're here, it says the science is clear. So why can't governments agree on vaping? The great divide on what to do about e-cigarettes is only growing wider.
What does that tell you, Patrick? As a normal human being, just pretend you are for a second. What does it tell you that she says the divide on what you do is growing wider? What does that mean to you?
That continues to mean that there are ideological people that no matter what the science says, will continue to dig their heels in, and use moral panic to whip up the crowd,
Yeah.
to muddy the waters, to confuse the topic, I mean, this is the same fight that we've been fighting for a decade, Kevin.
Ask me what I think about this.
What do you think about this, Kevin?
I think somebody's right and somebody's wrong. Who's going to win?
Well, whoever. Well, I
That's
mean,
the simple
really,
stuff.
if you want to be a naysayer, the guy with the biggest paycheck, biggest
All
pocketbook.
right, we'll use paycheck. Yeah.
So I've never done this. I'm gonna hit this play button so that I don't have to read it.
All right.
Let's see what it does.
The science is clear. So why can't governments agree on vaping? The great divide on what to do about e-cigarettes is only growing wider. There's one thing scientists...
This says it's voiced by artificial intelligence, Kevin.
Yeah.
And this is not related, but I want you to listen because she just inhaled.
Well, it's artificial intelligence.
Yeah, like she just
had to breathe.
finished a sentence and went. Just listen to see if you can hear that. I mean, this is creepy, though. I mean, if you think about it, this is a computer that's pretending to be human.
Double plus good.
Doctors and health officials debating vaping can agree on. They want people smoking tobacco cigarettes to quit. That's where consensus ends. Since e-cigarettes burst onto the scene in the 2000s, they have divided scientists, perplexed regulators, and resulted in a dramatic reversal of fortunes for an industry whose products were in decline.
See?
She's breathing. I heard
That's creepy as hell to me, Kevin.
It's because they want you to think it's real.
But if that's the case, then it wouldn't say voiced by artificial intelligence.
Gaslighting isn't real, Patrick. I'm telling you.
I'm not doing that.
Which is it?
Yeah. The debate at times toxic, pitting former colleagues and collaborators against one another.
Good.
And see, now I just breathe because I'm a human.
Good.
And it has led to wildly different policies among governments that are all considered tobacco control champions, or as our friend in Australia likes to identify himself as, a public health warrior. Tobacco control champion, public health warrior. You get the idea. He's trying to make himself way more manly than he actually is.
He's a twit.
Brazil and Panama, for example, have banned e-cigarettes, whereas in places like the UK and Canada, vapes are freely available to those that want them. Other countries sit somewhere in the middle. Yet those countries are all basing their policies on the same evidence, much like Vinyak Prasad from the World Health Organization's No Tobacco Unit says is undisputed. Nobody is disputing that this is addictive. Nobody is disputing that there is an appeal to it because of the way it is being promoted. Nobody in the world is disputing that non-smokers should not use it. Nobody in the world is disputing that minors should not use it, he said. I agree with most of that, Kevin. I don't think that the word addictive is right. I do think that there is an appeal to it. I enjoy it, so therefore it must be appealing.
All right, we'll go line by line.
I don't believe that it's being promoted. I love that they claim that packaging is promotion, right? So when they say, well, we don't like the way they're being marketed or advertised, they're not talking about magazine article or magazine ads or TV ads, because nobody's advertising these products on the TV or the radio or in print. Not at least in non-trade publications, at least not in the United States. So for them, a display in an adult-only vape shop is advertisement.
Yes.
Now, do some vape companies advertise in ways that I don't agree with or feel that are mature for an adult audience? There are some companies that are kind of childish. I'm not going to disagree with that. But would I call that marketing to youth? No, because the only place they can see those are either A, in a vape shop, or B, being shared by a human being, not a company. Because I've seen a lot of companies stop even pushing stuff on their websites or on their Facebook pages because of the scrutiny of social media. The only people that are taking pictures of these products and posting them on social media are regular folks that are using that product.
That are happy.
Now, are some of them paid? I don't know. Nobody's paying me to promote a product. And I will hold up my billet box, and now they're going to see. You can't even see it. Ha ha. They will say that he's advertising for billet box because I showed it.
I like my slide, and it's pink in honor of Demi. Phil and Demetrius designed this. This is beautiful. I love it.
Yeah,
because I'm an old fucker, and I like.
They've left that product behind, Kevin. That's
I know they did, and I got a couple.
They got new stuff now.
All I know is
they don't want you advertising that old one. They need to send you a new one so you could advertise that.
I like this one, but they got new ones.
But
I want this
Kevin. But
wait,
what is being disputed and what's driven a seemingly insurmountable divide between countries and scientists is how the scientific evidence should be translated into policy.
Yeah, you got to go back up for a second. Line by line. Nobody in the world is disputing that non-smokers should use it. I am. And nobody's disputing that minors should not.
Nobody in the world is disputing that non-smokers should not use it.
Yeah, they should.
So I just actually said when I was talking about population level, looking at it on a population level, I totally, if somebody said to me, dude, I am stressed out, and I know that sometimes people say that smoking causes them to de-stress. I would say, bro, here's a vape because a cigarette is going to kill you.
Yep.
So
that's one instance.
In a perfect world where nobody lived in a glass house and nobody had a rock,
right?
That might be okay. But in a real world situation where people do live stressful lives and do need an outlet for that, and maybe doesn't want to go to a doctor and get a pharmaceutical solution to their stress, when something that has been around for literally hundreds of years that we know makes people feel relaxed, if we can offer them that relaxation without all the, residual bad things and still get the good things, why not?
Right. So freedom of choice is
then you would have to be compassionate, though.
Right. Freedom of choice.
These organizations that claim to be trying to help people and, are driving this message that they care about you, Kevin, they have no compassion.
And then the minors should not use it well, that's what I sent you earlier in the week, is because if they're going to smoke, then they should. So fuck off. And then eventually it's freedom of choice anyway. I know nobody likes to hear that, but kiss my ass. I know.
Kids don't have rights, Kevin. You know that, right? Apparently, teachers can spy on them in the bathroom. They can strip search them. They can do all sorts of things. They can get away with it. I mean, hell, I guess we'll talk about that. One in 10 kids are sexually assaulted by a teacher in public, in American public schools.
Yep.
So,
Yep. See Steve's moniker thingy bobber. It's a thing.
What is an SO? My SO uses vapes for her asthma. What does SO mean?
Security officer. I don't know. Does it work, Steve?
I don't know. But he says that she never. Anyway, let's continue with this. Yeah, we already passed this. Let's see. Jamie Hartman. His significant other. Can't you say girlfriend? Anyway, Jamie Hartman Boyce. Unless it's like another dude, I don't want to judge you. But anyway, Jamie Hartman Boyce says the evidence shows that how harmful or beneficial vaping is depends on who you are.
Oh, well.
It's really a product that's good for some people and bad for other people, which doesn't feel like too complex of a statement, but actually feels like something that is difficult for many to grapple with, said Hartman Boyce, who is an associate professor of evidence-based policy and practice at the University of Oxford. Yeah. She led a 2022 Cochrane review considered the best type of analysis of the available evidence, which looked at studies of e-cigarettes for smoking cessation. It found the strongest evidence yet that vaping works better than traditional nicotine replacement tools, such as patches or gums, to help people stop smoking. For those advocating that vaping is an effective harm reduction mechanism, it was a significant win until people just, refuse to agree. But it's also more complicated than that. Look at this really cool picture. This makes me want to go buy a cigarette and some red shades, Kevin.
I'm kind of craving one now.
Hartman Boyce said that since Cochrane first started looking at the evidence nearly 10 years ago, things have changed dramatically. The devices themselves are different now and are much better at delivering nicotine. That's good for people trying to give up smoking, but creates a problem with non-smokers like kids who are trying these for the first time. Now, I just, I have video of a spokesperson from the FDA that openly admits that kids are going to experiment and there's nothing that we can do about it.
On an individual level, they'll talk to them.
But yes, they will not do any population level education on that.
No, it's not worth it, is it? No.
Yeah. So it says here, but not everyone is convinced it's good for most smokers in the long term. There's going to be Jorgen Vestbo, a clinician and emeritus professor of respiratory medicine at the University Hospital of South Manchester, who recently returned to his native Denmark, agrees that the randomized controlled trials show e-cigarettes can help people quit. But he also points to data from clinical trials that show people given e-cigarettes were more likely to use them for longer than those aids such as nicotine gum. Well,
he doesn't know.
Bro, nobody likes nicotine gum, so nobody's going to keep using it, and they're going to go back to smoking. That's exactly what the statistics show. Nicotine gum being one of the least successful NRT methods at 2%.
It's all in the wording, isn't it?
Yes. Vespo said population level evidence shows that as long as you are addicted to nicotine, you are more likely to start smoking again. Nobody has ever been able to produce that evidence.
Well,
they claim Patrick, that there's evidence, but there is no evidence, Kevin.
Then literally in this show right now, there's 10, 12, 15 people. I'm not sure. And there's two of us. So let's just go with the two of us. Because I don't like you, but I like me better.
Well, these people in the chat room, they don't respond half the time we ask them.
I love those people. So 2 points. If I'm addicted to nicotine, I'm going to start smoking. Well, it's 10 years so far there, whatever the hell your name is. And if it's that I'm using it longer than nicotine gum, it's been 10 years since I've smoked there, dickhead. So there's 2 points to that. Have you smoked since you started using vaping products? I know you have an occasional cigar.
I have not in 12 years.
Haven't?
I have not.
Shit.
I have smelled.
You had.
I have a humidor still, and there's still cigars in there that are maintained, but I have
nothing wrong with that. You could
just because I enjoy the experience so much that if I feel like if I put my toe in that water, I would just jump right in. Right. So I have not smoked a cigarette or a cigar since December 1st, 2010.
There you go. Okay.
And I bought my first vape on December 1st, 2010.
See, there you go.
So I quit smoking in one day.
Yeah.
There was no
No
stop
lag.
and start. There was no.
No lags.
I did it.
That's right.
So my doctors, I just had surgery. They checked they said I looked great inside.
Did they tell you to stop using nicotine for a week?
They didn't even know, Kevin.
Eh,
They never asked. They never asked.
non-smoker. That's all. Who cares?
That
Doesn't matter either way.
wasn't even on any of the paperwork.
Nice. Good.
So
Good. So you have a
never
perfect
asked about
asshole.
nicotine or tobacco use or nothing. Well, I don't put my vape back there.
Just checking.
Just saying.
10 years plus.
13 years.
And you haven't smoked yet. I
I
don't
have been
understand how
tempted
Jordan.
many times, Kevin. I have walked past somebody smoking and stopped for a second and gone, I could ask for one.
And Steve, that's okay. And to your earlier diatribe, if you will, Jorgen uses the words population level evidence, right?
Again, where?
Generalization of nothing.
I really hate it.
Yeah.
That these articles are written and nobody ever says, well, can you show me where that evidence?
Nobody. It doesn't matter. They don't care. That's not what they want.
So what's really disappointing is this guy's supposed to be a doctor. He's a clinician and emeritus professor of respiratory medicine at the University Hospital of South Manchester. Then down here, there's a quote. There's no doubt that vaping can, better than any other nicotine substitution, make people stop smoking. It's just that we don't apply it in the same way as medicine. Vaping is not on a prescription. Anybody can buy it. So you can't easily apply the findings from the randomized controlled trials to the real world. And I think that's where we disagree, he explained. Now, Kevin,
what
if I did? So if I submitted my story, if they produced a questionnaire that
a survey,
everyone could answer, well, a survey, but a very in-depth one.
Yeah.
Going through the entire experience of giving every bit of my testimony about this product, that will never be considered the gold standard, a randomized controlled trial.
No.
Now, to actually perfectly do a randomized controlled trial, you have to be, to make it completely above board and equal, you would have to find a number of people that have the same exact experience. So when they do randomized controlled trials on animals, on mule rats, for example, those rats are identical.
Yeah.
The rats that are used in scientific study, there are several strains, but they are genetically engineered rats. These are not wild rats from nature. These are rats that are bred specifically from specific bloodlines to make them as close as possible. So if you're going to do a randomized control trial on humans, you would have to do two. You would have to do, well, depending on this new gender argument or whatever, you'd have to find a number of men with the exact same health issues, the level of health, similar genetic makeup, yada, yada, yada. You'd have to do the same thing for women because apparently, and then I guess if you're going to, whatever, with the other.
Yeah.
But anyway, to be scientific, to be a real randomized controlled trial, if you're using the same criteria that you use for animal control trials, you'd have to find a large number of people that are nearly identical because everybody's life experience is different.
That's
so
correct.
if this guy over here that's in the randomized control trial has a perfect life and no problems and he smokes or vapes, and then you have another guy over here that's, had a shitty life and is filled with stress and poverty and blah, 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 then because you have to include behavioral issues with this, because behavior and psychology are a huge part of addiction.
Right.
But nobody's ever, they just pick out random folks. I've seen videos where they're doing where they had the NRT guys, the vape guys, and then the control group that didn't have anything other than cold turkey.
Yep.
They had like a couple hundred people in that. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If they follow those rules, and you're going to have to repeat it for every different type of human being to get a true randomized control trial.
That's impossible.
Yeah. And every one of us that have been vaping for a period of time, we're ruled out of participating in this because we already have experience in this.
Mm-hmm.
So our evidence is not ever going to be valid, Kevin.
Ain't that neat? That's so much fun.
So there's also no data yet on the long-term effects of e-cigarettes, leading some policymakers, such as the WHO, to embrace the precautionary principle when it comes to vaping.
Wait a minute. I'm going to itch my third ear's starting to itch me again. Okay, go ahead.
Until independent research shows the real risk profile of these products, governments should be cautious, said Adriana Blanco Marquizo, head of the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control Secretariat, in the WHO's 2021 report on the new So they're calling vaping new products in 2021, Kevin. I've been using this technology for 11 years by that point.
All right. Well, it's their rules, Patrick. You can kiss their ass.
So, since they're promoting and pushing a prohibitive campaign on these products, and they're saying that we have to be cautious until we have long-term evidence about these products. Mm-hmm. How are we ever going to have long-term evidence if you are pushing a prohibition?
Well, you just said that because everybody's different and it's going to be impossible and they don't care.
Yeah.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
I could, because they're going to show, Tedros is right there,
Body bags.
It's a trap. It actually is a trap. It actually is a trap.
Is that the one you were talking about?
Oh, Mamma mia!
Look! Let's see.
Yes, Michelle.
This is our Rumble. We're over here at Rumble, Kevin. You see that? Yeah.
Hello, Rumble. How you doing?
Yeah. But anyway, Prasad said the WHO's principles that were in place 6 years ago on e-cigarettes haven't changed much. In fact, if public comments are anything to go by, the WHO has dug in even more firmly. In June, WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom, I'm not even going to say his name, said the narrative that e-cigarettes are part of harm reduction is not true and a trap. Oh my God!
Right.
Just because we actually have video.
It's a trap. It actually is a trap.
It's a trap. It is a trap. It is a trap.
It is actually a trap.
As long as that narrative is there, I can just point right here. I don't have to say anything. I just point there. There it is.
Yeah. So comments like these illustrate John Britton's point about the vape debate. Before he retired, Britton was the director of the UK Centre for Tobacco and Alcohol Studies at the University of Nottingham, and has been highly influential in shaping the UK's approach to vaping. The UK has embraced e-cigarettes as a way to help smokers quit, and this year announced a world-first scheme to give vapers a vape starter kit along with behavioral support.
Well, we got to remember Granny Louisa first.
Yeah.
Within this context, because she was the pioneer. But anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
I respect Mr. Britton. I do.
I would love to get him on the show. I don't think he would hang out with us chuckleheads, though.
Oh, probably not.
Yeah. As he sees it, many organizations and individuals are not following the most up-to-date evidence and find themselves trapped in entrenched, outdated positions. You sort of paint yourself into a corner where if you say at the outset, I don't like the look of this, let's ban it. And then gradually evidence comes along, say that banning it might not be quite a good idea. You've either got to have the courage to say, actually, I got the call wrong and change your position, or you just hunker down, and the WHO has taken that approach.
They have no balls. There are none. Zero.
However, the WHO and people like Vespo argue they are following the science. They're just looking beyond the individual smoker and considering it from a whole of society approach, Kevin.
That's
oh my God, it's almost like I planned this. We just did some math in the show, right? Yeah. Hartman Bryce, who authored the Cochrane Review, agrees that different perspectives can help explain the divide between the science that she produces and the policies on the ground. For the most part, the decision governments are making is not should the person who smokes be given an e-cigarette to help them quit. They're thinking, should we allow these to be sold in grocery stores?
Yes,
that's not true. I think they should be everywhere.
Absolutely. All kinds, all flavors,
anywhere
all
that
all
cigarettes
styles.
are sold, these things should be sold right beside them so that people, I don't care if they're disposable, if they're refillable, if they're advanced. There should be a plethora of products that would satisfy every weirdo that wants to quit smoking. Everybody is different. Kevin,
bunch of weirdos.
Kevin, let me. I'm going to make you whole screen. I'm going to make you full screen, and I want you to point your finger and say and mouth like mean words. All right, ready?
Mean words.
Yeah,
I don't like.
Hold your whole head up so that more than just your chin and a butt. There. But move your hand to the side just a little bit.
Yeah.
So that your finger's in camera, but your face is in camera.
Like that.
Make it a little closer. Move your hand a little closer. Not your whole body, just your hand.
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm gonna do it. And now mouth your mean words.
Mean words.
All right, good. I'm gonna make a GIF of you doing that.
I have a lot better things to say than that.
Well, it'll be.
It's all right. You can dub. I don't care.
No, GIFs don't have sound.
Oh well, that's true.
Yeah.
Send it straight to who am I wanting to?
I'm going to use it. I'm going to put it on.
Janine.
Well, did you? We're going to talk about Janine later too. By the way,
just nothing but trouble.
She's a troublemaker. To many on both sides of the argument, the tobacco industry's embrace of e-cigarettes has clouded the policy debate. It's not just the fact that the industry is producing vapes, although that's enough to put many off the idea of promoting them. It's that the industry involvement has made the products as appealing as possible, encouraging take-up by non-smokers, including kids, precisely the populations that everyone agrees should not use them. That's not true.
First of all, it should be appealing, you stupid twit.
Can anyone produce for me a colorful, fruity flavored big tobacco vape product? The ones that they're holding up, the bars, whatever, the various bars, none of those products are made by Big Tobacco. Not a single one of them. Matter of fact, the Big Tobacco products are only tobacco flavored, and they're not very, very flashy. I mean, here's one. They're,
Oh, hey, I got a smoke. Smock. Whatever.
That's not Big Tobacco, though. Smock is not Big Tobacco.
Okay, good. See? Yeah. Well,
see? Yeah.
It's actually a decent little product. I'm not it's not my favorite, but it's a good backup.
So that's not true. I mean, this statement that he's saying that now public health people, I mean, this goes back to that period of time where nobody could go to work because they had to stay home, and there was a thing going around. And the one tobacco company said that they were going to start producing respirators, and then
no, you can't have
all
that.
these assholes got on social media and said, you know, we will not accept them, we won't use them, blah blah blah. Don't send them here.
The people who have, the companies that have the most fucking money and the quickest ability to do this, and they went, yeah, we don't want that. We don't want to save anybody's life now.
And I was just like, I mean, do you think they're going to put a bunch of tobacco inside of the respirator?
Well, of course they're not.
So that the people that are, you know, on the ventilator will wake up and say, you know what, I really want a cigarette. It's just, and then all the staff, they're going to smoke because they're so ideologically anti big tobacco, Kevin. Even if big tobacco does something good, like, hey, we're going to make free respirators and give them to your country, to help people not die. Now, later on, we found out that the respirators were actually doing more damage than good.
But that's the respirator.
The protocols changed.
Correct.
But that wasn't the respirator's fault. That was the doctors that didn't know enough about the disease that they were treating.
Correct.
However, these people are so stuck in their ways that even when big tobacco does something humanitarian and good,
I have an example.
They would rather people die, because at the time they thought if we don't put these patients on respirators, they're going to die.
Yes.
So they would have rather people suffocated because they didn't have enough respirators than accept the help of big tobacco.
Correct.
Now, how do you go to a family member and say, I'm sorry, your grandpa is going to die of this thing because he needs a respirator, and the only ones that we had were offered to us by Reynolds, so we couldn't accept it because it was from Reynolds.
Right.
Yeah. Britain said big tobacco is an amoral, reprehensible industry, makes a fortune by addicting children and killing them, but he said they just won't hold up their hands and admit that. They're going to carry on making their money out of it however they can for as long as they can. And while Vespo comes down on a different side of the policy argument, he agrees that big tobacco's involvement is unhelpful. The tobacco industry is so powerful, so dominant, they are using all the old tricks. So, of course, if you're not against e-cigarettes, perhaps you've been either bought or cheated by big tobacco. There's this big monster in the background. So, again, Kevin, I don't particularly ever even think about big tobacco, except when we're reading stupid stories like that. Now, that story did make some points, but again, there's a lot of just pure moral indignation because big tobacco decided to enter the industry.
Right.
So let's blame all of them.
You have to. You know, BAT did, British American Tobacco did a hunger food drive, and I don't recall the exact thing, and I can't find the screenshot I've got of Chimpman, which is Tic Tac's favorite guy, other than through here. And he's chiding them because they're trying to do good things, and I just don't understand. You're hungry? Well, you can't have this because a tobacco company supplied it for you, and we're not going to have that because we don't like it. Fuck you. How about fuck you? Anyway, it's what you were saying earlier, is that no matter what good they try to do to be responsible, it's okay. As long as somebody else is in charge, right? Michael, Twitter jail.
Who? I got put for a week for telling people that discourage vaping to a person. You shouldn't have used the word kill themselves. because that when you use those
that-
words on that platform, you will be.
Is that a trigger?
Yep. The algo will get you every time. All right, Kev. So on the last WHO, because the first three things were WHO, right? Yeah. So this week
I did too, Eddie. March of Dimes, cancer. I did all that with my mother.
You marched for dimes? What?
March of Dimes, yeah. I collected them.
Dimes?
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
the only dime bags, maybe,
No, that was before that. Then I was like, oh. What you got there, Zippy?
So let me present. I have to present things, Kevin. I have to do so in a comfortable way.
It's a Victor share screen, even if it isn't.
Yeah. Plus, I have to wait for. There we go. So the WHO released their 2023 report on the tobacco, the global tobacco epidemic. So, what's another word for a global epidemic, Kevin?
Oh my God, a pandemic, sir.
Oh, damn.
I'm not that cheap, Nick.
That's not what I heard.
What's stunning about this is two things: the word "protect" and its literal meaning and definition. One, and two, that if these alleged deaths go up every year, this is a complete bold-faced fucking trap. It's a lie. It's a fucking lie. You fucking pieces of shit. That concludes my tirade.
Are you
No.
Are you done with your
This one riles me up.
language, Kevin?
Nick's like, it's a good thing.
Rouse you up.
What?
Oh, there it is. I found it.
It's a trap.
All right. So this is the actual. This is the actual report, Kevin.
Yeah, I can't smell it, but I know what it smells like.
But I really, you see this right here? Empower. Empower. Yeah. You remember a while back we discussed Empower. So this acronym, the Empower acronym, was actually created by the blooming idiot.
Yeah.
Bloomberg. Yeah.
As soon as you scroll,
Empower. Yeah, Empower is an acronym for their policy and their plan on how to control people.
And isn't this
brainwashing?
Isn't this cult-like? Because if you are a part of that group, you will do and toe that line only. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is a 248-page document.
Oh.
But you see right here, made possible by funding from Bloomberg philanthropies.
Gaslighting's not real.
Yeah. So
I can't.
Thank God a whole bunch of these pages are just, Oh, look, secondhand tobacco smoke kills 1.3 million non-smokers a year, Kevin.
Well, that's what they say, and we can't find out where it comes from.
Yeah, nope. Smoke-free environments save lives and benefit businesses and economies.
I think that's bullshit.
Effective smoke-free laws are comprehensive and enforced.
Well, they're definitely enforced.
There we go.
You can die if you smoke.
This is the Bloomberg acronym. This was created by Bloomberg Philanthropies and their vital strategies people. So it says here they're going to monitor tobacco use and prevention policies. Now, let's be clear. This is Bloomberg and the WHO, and they're monitoring government policies.
Mm-hmm.
All over the world.
They're sticking their fist up politicians' asses, is what they're doing.
Yeah, that's how they puppet. That's you gotta.
That's how you got it.
Yeah. Protect people from tobacco smoke. They're going to offer help to quit tobacco use.
Mm-hmm.
Unsuccessful ways that they're going to offer, but they're going to warn about the dangers of tobacco.
That's what they do best.
Enforce bans on tobacco advertising, promotion, and sponsorship. So, how does a organization like the WHO, which is not a sovereign government, they don't rule any countries, do they, Kevin?
I'm not aware of any. I don't know, except ours.
They're not elected to govern the people, but somehow they're going to enforce bans on tobacco advertising, promotion, and sponsorship.
Yeah.
And they're also going to raise taxes on tobacco.
And there you go. See, that's the bottom line, literally on this page. And that, my friend, is why. I don't see where it says help people.
Now, it could be they could have covered their ass a little bit better on their ultimate goal, because all they would have had to say is, we are going to suggest raising the tobacco. We're going to ask governments to ban. No. They've revealed what they want. They want authority and control
and money
over everyone so that they can do all of these things and not be elected to power. And, Bloomberg, if he had ran for president and won, these are the things that he would have pushed as the president of the United States.
Oh yeah, of course.
Not
soft drinks for you.
Yeah. The general public supports smoke-free measures.
They can. Well, yes, they can. They do.
I don't disagree that people that don't smoke don't want to hang around places that people smoke. That's true. I wouldn't disagree with that. So, let's just scroll down here. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I am going to talk about one thing, So this is Tedros here. He says, the steadfast progress demonstrated by countries over these years is a testament to what can be achieved when a clear global health vision is combined with committed global partnership and a big check from Michael Bloomberg.
That's right. And taxes, because,
Yeah, I'm not going to read this part.
Sustainability is what they want.
I'm not. I'm not going to read Michael Bloomberg's comments either. All people have a fundamental right to breathe clean air, and governments are obliged to protect everyone's health as a fundamental human right. That I don't disagree with that either. However, I want to hit the illicit trade. There's a page there. Down here it talks about illicit trade. Where are you at?
Nick, we are not responsible for keyboards and blood pressure.
Now, how do I do I?
There's
there we go.
There's no black market, Patrick. How we make it bigger? It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. So the WHO, FCTC, and the protocol to eliminate illicit trade in tobacco products. He says every time he watches this radio show, his blood pressure goes through. How do you watch a radio show? Is what I'm.
We're on. Oh, stop it. Hey, nobody's asking anybody about airplane pollution, are they? I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
No, but most of the people that are complaining about like global warming and stuff,
Yeah.
you know how they get to those big fancy press conferences and events all over the world? Big, huge, giant private jets, Kevin.
Yeah. Did you see Owls earlier? Mean
Owl?
Words Vape Band. Yeah.
Oh,
Mean Words Vape Band.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a Mean Words Vape Band. Anyway, so it says here the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, the WHO, FCTC, and the Protocol to Eliminate Illicit Trade in Tobacco Products are evidence-based, legally binding international instruments with 182 and 67 parties, respectively. So only 67 countries have signed the Eliminate Illicit Trade in Tobacco Products document, respectively, as of June of 2023, Annex number 5. These treaties are unifying frameworks for intergovernmental cooperation, are fundamental to combating the global tobacco epidemic, and upholding the right of all people to the highest attainable standard of health. That's me. I'm the son of Liberty Radio. That's me.
That's not make his blood pressure more.
Right. So since its entry into force on the 27th of February, see, this is one of those weird European how they write their dates. I don't like this. The 27th of February 2005. The WHO FCTC has included a core set of mutual reinforcing obligations to reduce the demand for and supply of tobacco products. The implementation of these measures is supported by an equally important set of global obligations for advancing progress and cooperation in tobacco control locally, nationally, regionally, and globally. Of these, Article 5.3 and its guidelines for implementation provide crucial safeguards against tobacco industry over and interference in tobacco control policies. These general obligations are reinforced by blah, blah, blah. So they spent a lot of words in here to say, oh, we're patting ourselves on the back because we've done a lot of stuff to prevent there from being huge, giant tobacco black markets, Kevin.
Right. Right.
I think the last time I looked, the black the actual cigarette black market of New York City alone was somewhere around $40 million a year.
Hashtag Eric Garner.
And that's a perfect way. Yeah. I mean, hold people down and kneel on their back if they're trying to sell Lucy's on the street, man.
Fuck. No, because Nick's talking about blood pressure. That pisses me off just because it's just I don't even understand. Nobody attended his funeral that brought that law into effect. Nobody. Guarantee it.
I don't want to point fingers at Nick Orlando, but Nick is an ex-LEO.
I know.
And he's our friend, Kevin.
I can't imagine that there were the same principles applied in his tenure.
I don't know. He's a pretty big dude. If he, I don't know. He might have hog-tied you to the ground and kneeled on your. I never do that.
Well, let's not go there.
He might have hog-tied you, but it wasn't. He wouldn't be kneeling on your back.
Shoo.
Why are you laughing so hard? That was only a little funny.
Just because. Oh, what's the Steve? Oh, that. I saw that M word, by the way. Whoever did that.
N word, Kevin. We don't say the N word on this show.
M, as in Meredith. You twit.
Oh.
M. maybe my pronunciation was incorrect in your eyes.
I think Addie heard. I think because Addie just put in the shocked face. I think he heard the same thing I heard.
No, if I'd have seen that, I'd have been a lot more angry. A lot.
And
trying to
see, Nick says, "Damn it, Kevin!" So he heard it too.
Meredith.
I
should get closer to the mic.
Okay. See, Michael Redfern. See, he said it. Yep. See. Well, we're gonna hear a bad word from you in a minute anyway. I accidentally just screwed up and closed my
what?
My browser. I hit the wrong button and I lost all of my windows on my other screen. So I'm having to go and confirm that Rumble is actually still rumbling. Because that was the page that I was using over there. So give me. I screwed up, Kevin.
Well, you've been wrong before. I know that hurts.
And it's never happened. It's still going.
Never? All right.
What?
Did you close it down or did you minimize?
No, I closed it, but it's still open.
Oh.
It's still broadcasting. I just don't have the button to end the broadcast now.
Oh, I got you.
I'm having to learn as I go over here, Kevin. I'm randomly poking on buttons now. Oh, no, here it is. I can still get there. All right. Now I'm going to go back to the thing that's going to make you curse, but I have to rub it a little bit for you.
All right.
I need a fluffer. All right. You're going to love this. Let me close that. All right. Let's get back to the shoe. So it says here, IPVideo announces integration of Halo smart sensor with Vicon VMS to stop vaping and provide security in privacy areas. So this is a company that makes video surveillance equipment and a company that produces vape detection equipment. They're gonna get together and do the nasty and produce a surveillance item that supposedly will offer all of this stuff to schools so that they can trap kids.
But I thought the sensors were already what? Huh?
So some of the sensors that were already made, Kevin, were there to detect loud sounds and also
in a school.
The emissions, right? So now we have a company that produces video equipment and the smart sensor going together. And, here it says IPVideo Corporation is excited to announce the integration of its award-winning Halo smart sensor with Vicon's Valerius Enterprise Video Management System.
Right.
So IPVideo Corporation is excited to announce the integration. I already read that, blah, blah, blah. The Halo smart sensor operates without audio or video recording to detect and monitor vaping, THC chemicals, air quality, sound abnormalities like gunshots, and the device will notify facility personnel of abnormal ranges of levels. That's what it already does that.
Yeah. Yeah.
This collaboration enables dealers and clients to monitor Halo alerts directly from their VMS while providing an additional layer of protection within facility privacy areas.
There's that word again, that protection word.
Now, you tell me that they're integrating these sensors with a video management system, yet we're not going to be using the cameras. What? Our customers benefit from strategic technology partnerships like we have with Vicon and all of the possibilities it brings to client safety, says Rick Cadiz, VP of Sales and Marketing at IPVideo Corporation. Be it vaping prevention, security, or identifying healthy spaces for occupants, this integration is a value proposition that allows Vicon clients worldwide to provide security for privacy areas across markets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The latest version of Halo technology, Halo 3C, is a true multifunctional solution featuring all the benefits of the Halo 2C, in addition to enhanced features like gunshot detection, emergency spoken word, panic button, emergency escape lighting, and a people counting sensor available only with the... So it's somehow going to count people.
Yeah.
But it doesn't video them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's pass-through technology. Something came in, something came out. You know.
But it's a sensor.
Right.
That
That's possible
listens
without video. Well, it detects motion. So maybe.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Kevin. If you I'm a little paranoid maybe. And it doesn't outright say that they're using, but it's a company that produces video surveillance and a company that produces audio and olfactory, sensory stuff all working together. It seems to me like the natural thing is for them that they're going to integrate their emission testing, sound testing, and video.
Right. So sensors, and I want you guys to think in a different way for a second. A sensor, when you walk toward a door at the grocery or wherever, and it opens on its own, it sees you. Only it doesn't actually see you.
Well, most grocery stores do not have. They have pressure sensors in the floor that open the door.
They also have those. That's correct. But if you see the little thing at the top, it's an eye. It's an eye seeing motion, and it moves. Takes your door and opens a door for you. Also, there are pressure mats. That's correct. In the olden days, when you were, 4 in the 40s, they also had pressure mats. Now, the word protection, folks, before we go to what?
Those, Kevin. They still
I'm going to rant. The word protection is a very serious thing to me, because if the word protection is taken literally, they're going to protect your little shits at the school. Is that correct? With these products for your protection, for their protection. That's not what that is. That is, and Nick is probably the only one that's going to know this immediately. That's detection, not protection. There's a huge difference in that word.
You see, anyway, he's running away because he's an old man. Do you see that?
Good night, Nick.
He's past his bedtime. Make sure you take your Geritol in the morning.
Along with that other pill.
Some of y'all won't get the Geritol joke.
Protection is my ass. Or yours.
Is that like a condom? I mean,
I think so. I don't know. You're not protected. Stand in front of my school with weapons and protect the children. I guess that's the word. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we protect children from vaping.
Remember, this is creepy, Kevin. I'm gonna open this next article.
All right.
And this is creepy.
All right.
But you remember a while back we did a whole show talking about pneumothorax being the new boogeyman story. I called it
spooky language.
Pneumothorax, the new diacetyl.
Yes.
Pop. Yeah, you remember that? All right.
I do.
So every week for the last month or so ago, we both were botting for a second there. I said we've been covering a new story about a pneumothorax.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the creepy part of this story is over here in the right-hand corner. There's an advertisement for Riot Society T-shirts. This T-shirt that I'm wearing right now is a Riot Society T-shirt.
Yeah.
So that's kind of creepy that somehow they know that I'm wearing the Riot Society t-shirt right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Troop, are you asking about this? I did actually break down and buy some e-liquid this week, Kevin. I ordered some from some friends of mine here.
What?
There's a company called Lazarus Vintage, and they also do barrel aged liquids.
Yeah.
And periodically I have purchased from them in the past. And they have a barrel aged cognac e-liquid.
Okay.
So to make sure that I have some, I did buy 2 120 ml bottles of their barrel aged. It's called Journey. Well, it's not here yet. I have a tracking number, but it hasn't moved.
Nick. It's in the mail.
See, what's really sad is I did respond to a Facebook post from that jerk, and I told him they're right here. I'm just too damn lazy to go to the post office and actually do that.
You know, you could have the postman come and. Oh no, you probably can't because of where you are.
Yeah. I have them. Actually, I have like 10 different. They're already bottled and everything. That's the sad. That's really. I had to send some to him and Leanne.
Did you send some to Leanne?
No, they're here. I have them to send Kevin, but he was like listing off all these bullshit excuses in his little tweet. I have never once said it's steeping, but he put it's steeping. I've never said that.
I remember
my
a while
excuse
back.
was and always has been, I'm too damn lazy to go to the fucking post office. And I openly and freely admit it. But anyway, so I don't get this association here on this photograph. So there's a picture of a dude with his sunglasses and he's at a beach. And then over here, I can't tell, is that a vape in that guy's hand or is that a gun? Because it's got like that ghetto gun thing where they try to shoot their gun sideways like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So a 31-year-old man named Alex Gittins, who had recently turned to vaping to quit smoking, ended up in the hospital with a collapsed lung after using e-cigarettes for just 1 month, Kevin.
Well, then I should, yeah.
The dad-to-be from Bishop Auckland, County Durham, started vaping in April, consuming 2 600 puff e-cigarettes each week as an alternative to smoking. Trouble began when he experienced pain on the right side of his body after taking a puff of his vape on May 25th. Yeah. Breathing became painful and he noticed a chemical taste in his throat. Concerned about his condition, Alex rushed to the Darlington Memorial Hospital, fearing he was having a heart attack. However, doctors discovered that his right lung had completely collapsed due to pneumothorax, a condition where air accumulates in the chest cavity, compressing the lungs. To alleviate the situation, doctors inserted a tube into his rib cage to release the trapped air and the fluid that were affecting his lungs and chest. But unfortunately, his lung didn't heal naturally, leading to a transfer to the James Cook University Hospital for surgery on June 1st. The operation was grueling and lasted 2 hours. During the surgery, doctors removed a portion of the damaged lung, stapled it back together, and used a white powder to secure they glued it, Kevin.
Well,
the white powder that I would have suggested is not going in that way. It's going in the nose. Anyway, they used a white powder to glue his lung back to his thoracic wall.
That sounds like something a doctor would do, I guess. I don't know.
Reflecting on the
Scary.
experience, Alex admitted to having feared for his life during the ordeal. Well, yeah, that would be natural if you're gasping for air because one of your lungs doesn't work. Because you've maybe you've damaged your lung somehow, but not with vaping. Kevin, I've been vaping 13 years. You've been vaping 10 years. Nick Orlando, he's been around for a long time. He's an old man. Addie's old. We got a lot of old vapors in this chat room, and we haven't heard of a story of a pneumothorax from vaping until the last year.
I just did the math based upon my 10 years of vaping. I've had approximately 100, if it takes 30 days, I've had approximately 120 chances to do this neurothermaxal zippity-doo thing. It's yet to happen. I hope it doesn't. I'm not looking forward to that if it does. But, hey, they got glue, so I'm not as concerned.
Oh, speaking of movie theaters, because Paul in the chat room brought up a caulking gun in a movie theater. Did you see that what's his name? Pee Wee Herman, he passed away this week.
Oh, yeah, I know. I see that. 15 years.
I did not realize that he was 70 years old.
Neither did I. I thought he was my age. I thought he was in his 50s.
Yeah.
I don't follow him well enough.
I feel kind of sad. When I was a kid, I watched the Pee Wee Herman show on TV.
Did. Yeah.
But Paul Rubens was his real name, and he will always be Pee Wee Herman to me. I don't care what you say, Addie. But
I caught him in Blow.
I did not realize that he was that old. He was in He was in the movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, was he? Yeah. He was
as
in a
one
few
of the vampires. He was in some, and he wasn't Pee Wee Herman in that, but yeah, he was in some stuff. He played in the TV show The Blacklist for one season. He was one of the side characters. I love that show. That's a great show, by the way. But yeah, he passed away. So we should have
Rob Zombie.
We should have a moment of silence for Pee Wee Herman.
And there
okay,
we go.
That's it. Yeah. Anyway, he was not one to visit doctors frequently, but this incident made him realize the severity of his situation. The surgery was successful, but he still faces challenges as he adjusts to life with his glued lung, experiencing breathlessness after just a 5-minute walk. Doctors reassured him that he should return to normal within 6 to 8 weeks, but there remains a 2% risk of the collapsed lung again. They also warned him against smoking, and Alex now regrets both smoking and vaping, urging others to be cautious about the dangers of vaping. He believes that people should quit vaping, but understands that often they only take such warnings seriously when it affects someone close to them.
Yeah.
Alex's story serves as a cautionary tale about the potential risks associated with vaping, encouraging awareness among others about the potential harm it can cause.
You know, Patrick, it's odd that, what did you say, 7 million people vape?
In the United States.
Let's pretend it's 7.
It's an educated
7 million people, 7 million different stories, surely. There may be a few that are exact, but I can't imagine they're exact. And then none of that matters. One guy times now 8, whatever it is, or whatever shows you've had with this bullshit story again and again, that's blaming vaping, is serious and needs to be taken care of right away. Those things are important and believable, but none of you people matter. None of you. You're not money. Well, except Nick. I like Nick. And Steve and Mallory. And
you just like Nick because he gets my dander up.
And everybody except Patrick. That's what it is. Oh.
Oh.
Detection, not protection.
So So do you have your Vape Cats tweet of the week selected, Kevin?
I sent it to you. Let me. Do you want to show it or you want me to? I gotta find it first.
There's no video on it, is there?
No.
Then you can show it.
Hold on, let me clank it up here. Clippity dippity doo. Where'd it go?
Zippity doo dah, zippity a.
Ah, there we go. Okay. Let me get my Victor share screen all cleaned off and ready to go and all blown up out of proportion so everybody can read it. I imagine that
Steve says that he has dry knuckles from vaping. I don't believe that for a second because of all the Vaseline that he uses would protect his fingers from becoming dry knuckled.
Just a joke. Try to walk upright. All right, so where's the this is actually
jelly would protect his knuckles, I would say.
Oh, I'm sad because I got to show your freaking ass at the same time.
Oh,
I don't really have to. I really don't. The Victor share screen shall now commence in the presentation form. I think if you're gonna, there we go. All right. So some chucklehead said, I can't read that side. So. Make a so-called safer product that contains exactly the same carcinogenic, poisonous chemicals, VLN, that the deadly product is supposed to replace cigarettes while at the same time attacking and demonizing and attempting to reduce use of an actual safer nicotine product. I'm assuming vaping. Sounds like 22nd century. They're my pals. You know that. Regardless of what they say, blah, blah, blah. It's all the same. They've admitted it. I've got the screenshot. They can kiss it's the Victor share screen, Steve. So Jared is my tweet of the week. That's not big enough, is it?
No.
Is it? No.
But that tweet is later on in the show notes, so we won't cover that twice.
This one?
Yes, because you sent it to me, so I added it to the show notes. But
okay.
Yeah.
So Jared made a good point, and I over tweeted and quote whatever you like to say is maybe at some point they will realize
Kevin,
that
you cannot use the verb tweet anymore.
He X'd. Maybe at some point they will realize that lung cancer, COPD, emphysema, chronic bronchitis are commonly referred to as smoking-related diseases, not nicotine-related diseases. Sometimes as it's the small details that make all the difference. And it's all in the wording, which is what I've said all along. It's part of my little shtick, if you like. So I've nominated Jared because he's got the exact point under your chucklehead ass, but it was perfect to me to read what he said, how we've said it 1,000 times, and he said it 10 times better, just in 2 sentences. So there's that.
So Steve is jealous because you keep referring to the Victor share screen, and he's not old. He hasn't been around enough to understand that you used to only have one monitor. And Victor used to own a computer business, and Victor sent Kevin a monitor. So gracious. Victor is a forever and always will be patron of the show. And every time Kevin shares anything on that screen, that is the Victor share screen. Because we love Victor for helping Kevin
and his wife. Because of the oh my god!
Now,
you should just play that for the fuck of it.
Since Steve, is a mortician,
eat. If
Steve is a mortician, then Steve should sponsor us by promising you free embalming when you die.
No, they're just gonna light a match. Who cares? I'm not gonna.
I'm gonna have a Viking funeral. That's what I want. Yeah.
All right.
Put me in a boat, pour some gasoline on me, and shoot a flaming arrow into the boat. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So Mallory,
there's that M
this evening
word. tonight.
He's ready. He's got everything prepped for you. Tweeted something that is near and dear to my heart. She even tagged me in it.
Oh.
And you.
Oh.
So it says here that Vivek Ramaswamy says talking about rights being taken away and tagged us. So since Mallory decided to bring this to my attention,
it's just...
I'm going to highlight this as our tweet of the night or tweet of the week or whatever. But let's go over here and read what this guy is saying, because this guy is a politician running as a Republican. And to tell you the truth, Kevin, I don't disagree with him. It says here, I can't say his name, Ramaswamy. Vivek Ramaswamy is proposing a constitutional amendment that would require citizens 18 to 24 to pass a civics test in order to vote. Yeah. The same one immigrants take to become U.S. naturalized citizens. Yeah. Now, since you guys know, I like my pocket constitution. Mm-hmm. And I'm a big, huge fan of the way that our government was created. Yeah. And I understand how the government works. And I understand the power that I am wielding in the voting booth when I vote. And since some states have removed civics from the educational program for students, it's some states have removed civics from the curriculum. So that's why we get these brain dead people that don't understand the reasoning behind the way for example, the distribution of House of Representatives versus Congress or versus the Senate, why we use an electoral college versus the popular vote for election of presidents, why the Supreme Court is appointed and they are there for life versus terms and being elected.
See, this is the point where most people are going to go.
Well, Steve has already said who teaches civics anymore, but
it's true. They don't.
I think to wield that authority, you should understand, you should at least be able to prove a basic understanding of why we have a republic and not a pure democracy, and why the system is set the way it is. So I don't personally, I can pass a civics test.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you think they took it away on purpose?
Well, yes.
Why do you think they took it away on purpose?
Well, Kevin,
purpose of the purpose. Because a less educated
I don't want to get
society
too political here, Kevin, but academia is primarily populated by people from a specific political persuasion.
Right.
And during these presidential elections and then afterwards, they love to show the fact that people that vote left are typically more academic than people on the right, which I don't know. They claim that all of the smart people are voting Democrat and all the dummy people are voting Republican. That's one of the things that they like to point out. But I'm a Republican and I have credentials that I can put behind my name. I have multiple degrees. Addie doesn't appear to be a moron. Mallory's not a moron. Steve's not a moron.
Don't presume.
And I would assume that most of them people probably lean a certain way politically. So I feel like, yes, that they wanted to create an electorate that are stupid, or at least that don't understand the way the government works.
And that to my point is the less you know, the better off you are, because then we can control you just a little harder.
Oh yeah,
And
so that's why we always
like it.
We always see these posts on social media around presidential elections. It's inevitable since probably Reagan was elected. I can clearly remember every election cycle, young people of a certain political persuasion demanding that we abolish the Electoral College because it's unfair. Why, if I live in California, how comes my vote doesn't count as much as my vote's not as important as somebody that lives in a smaller state or lower populated state like Montana or South Dakota? Or the reason that everybody the votes are the way they are is so that the left and right coasts don't get all of the power to elect the government. Because if that was the case, the president would always be elected by New York and California.
What they want is obedience.
And screw everybody in the middle that produces all the food that you eat, all of the gas that goes in your car, all of the people, all the things that you love that you wouldn't have if you were to divide the country up into 50 different countries. And that's what would happen after a few elections where the people in the middle of the country realized we're getting fucked because California and New York are choosing the president every time because of the population. Everybody in the middle would say, fuck you, we're leaving. So that's, but I actually, either A, they need to add, I think what he should do instead of promoting or pushing a civics test, I think he should promote and push that civics be added to the curriculum of every school in the United States. So these kids can understand the glory of our Constitution and why it is the way it is. They need to learn how to critically think about the Constitution and compare it to other founding documents of other countries that have different governmental systems so that they can understand why our system is the best. But no, they just would rather not teach these kids that so that they can, you know, how many times in the last 100 years there's been a movement to get rid of the Electoral College, Kevin?
Oh, I don't know.
8 times in the last 100 years, some politician has introduced legislation that would obviously create a new amendment to the Constitution to get rid of. You know what happens once it passes the House and the Senate? What happens to a constitutional amendment, Kevin?
I'm just a bill. I'm only a bill. I get
a majority. Well, no, for an amendment, a majority of the states also have to ratify it.
Right.
So none of the states in the middle are going to ratify that bullshit because they're going to say, well, then my vote is meaningless because
look at me.
California and New York are going to railroad everybody.
She's spitting over there.
Well, I think that's also true, especially these younger millennial politicians that have been elected in a lot of the more progressive states. There are a lot of younger. I mean, there are more millennial representatives in politics than there are Gen Xers, Kevin.
Well, you got Troop, Steve, and Mallory, all three having great content in what they're saying, really, because Mallory wants them to take a civics test before they take office, which is a great idea. Extremism is what it is, and where neither party puts the people over the corporations because they don't think they work for the people anymore. So you're all correct, and I don't think you needed to be told that, but it's just I told my kids in the past 3 years.
I saw Paul say something earlier about coming to America.
Yeah.
Then he posts, "I don't like to vote." Well, then stay the fuck in Australia.
I've told my children, who are long been adults now, that they're slowly watching their free. I use this pick thing. They slowly are watching their freedoms being taken from them, and they don't care. Not them specifically, but
they're comfortable.
Newest, whatever generation.
If you put a frog in a pot of water,
that's correct.
And then you put that pot of water on the stove and turn it on, the frog will stay in the water until he's dead.
Yeah.
Because it was comfortable when he got in it.
I don't know if it'll show up or not. I don't think. There it is. See it? There it is.
Yeah. There you are. That's what happens when you are okay with the status quo.
Gaslighting's not real. It's okay. Calm down.
I like that. I think that as a member of the United States, as a citizen of a country, when you gain the right to vote, you should be fined for not voting. And I also think that every election should be a national or a state holiday, depending on if it's a national election or a state election, and everything should be closed so that everybody can vote.
Well, then it'd be anarchy.
I'm serious about that. I mean, obviously, nurses have to work. I would have to work, but I would be given. I think everybody should be given a certain amount of certain hours to be off so that they can vote.
Yeah, I had an argument with the boss once about that.
Steve says we are fined if we don't have insurance. That's not true. Not after Trump. Trump destroyed that. That was one of the only things that. Well, I shouldn't say that. I did like that. I did like the fact that he vetoed that part of the.
Yeah.
Obamacare law.
Is that a different platform that should have? Isn't it?
She's on Twitter. She's on Twitch.
Oh, that's Twitch. Okay.
She's on Twitch. Because the
hello Twitchers.
The Rumble doesn't populate in the group in the chat.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Did you notice though, Kevin, that you actually have the power now to click on people's comments and they will show up on screen?
I have the what?
Yes.
What?
Select a comment from the chat and click on it with your mouse.
I did.
Well, supposedly they were adding that feature.
I don't know.
Let me go over here and see if I have to give you permission to do that.
You ain't feeding me and you ain't beeping me, so I don't need your permission for shit. Oh yeah, I do.
Guests see viewer comments and posts. Oh,
were you
can
wrong
see that before
that there show?
Guests can see viewer comments and posts. Oh, now you can post.
Huh?
On the bottom of the chat there should be a little picture with your little emoji, like mine has my.
Nope.
If you click on that, you should be able to type in the post a comment.
Mine says join the chat, which tells me to go to YouTube.
Is that what it does?
Yes, it does, sir.
Oh, they claim that you should be able to just type in the chat room.
Well, they're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just a Bill. I'm only a Bill.
I've never been a guest. I've always been the host. But they sent out a thing saying that they had added all these new features.
Huh. Well, they did allow me to use the green screen without one, but it lags me so hard that I can't. I did it like the first couple weeks I noticed it, and I was just like
the virtual thing. Unless like in my computer's not weak by any measure, but it always gets kind of laggy when you're trying to use the virtual screen, without the green screen.
Yeah, I try to hide the ugly the best I can, but
yeah.
Beard's coming back, so
you can't hide that amount of ugly, Kevin.
No, not really.
Yeah,
Michelle.
Yeah. So it says here, Florida woman arrested after biting ear off another woman during fight over vape pens and alcohol.
Well,
So
because, you know,
Mallory and Shadav had a fight.
and Nick was in the middle probably, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know.
This is Florida. So a physical altercation ensued when the women, after one of them, accused the other of attempting to steal alcohol and vape pens from a house party, according to Bay County Sheriff's Department.
Delinquent
so
freaks.
She pulled.
These are adults. These are adults.
A Mike Tyson here. A Florida woman was arrested after biting the top of another woman's ear off during a fight over vape pens and alcohol on July 4th. Deputies responded to an assault and battery call at a home in Callaway, a suburb of Panama City, just after midnight. An investigation revealed the incident had occurred at a house party next door at 6526 Olakey Street that was thrown by unsupervised minors.
What?
When a fight kicked off between several men at the house party, 23-year-old Nancy Regan attempted to leave and walk to her home next door. The sheriff's office said in a news release, it was then that Dixie Styles, she's got a name.
Here she comes.
Dixie.
Here she comes.
She had to take her earrings out because she was going to get into a fight. 18 confronted Regan and accused her of stealing vape pens and alcohol. Reagan allegedly pulled out a 9mm gun from her waistband, which Styles shoved out of the way. A physical altercation ensued where Reagan bit the top of Styles' ear off, the sheriff's office said in the release. The woman received multiple bruises and lacerations in the fight, and Styles' ear was unable to be reattached because Dixie's saliva was all over it.
Lord.
Both women were arrested. Styles was charged with battery, while Regan was charged with felony battery causing bodily harm. This investigation into the incident is ongoing.
Oh, my God.
So, ladies, try to talk it out next time.
Breathe through your nose.
Use your words. Count to 10. Wow. You know, don't be chewing each other's ears off. Shadav says she's sorry she was PMSing. And I'm going to...
You know how them Florida people are, Steve.
I'm going to show that on screen so that no one claims that I was being sexist. Shadav is a lady, and she is the one that said it.
Them Dixie girls, I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I'd have to consult with Nick about this. I don't
Southern Vapor is a girl, and you know
what the hell is the thing? Because never mind.
Oh, I wish I was in the land of. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland.
The kicker is that the minors were doing the party, not the adults. Why were the adults there? And no, I don't. Just forget. This is a big old clusterfuck all by itself. Where's my signs? My signs are all the way over there now. I found them.
Here's your sign.
Dixie.
So Kevin, this is totally wholly unrelated. But have you noticed here in the last 2 weeks, they one country singer has released a song, not in a small town or whatever, and got all everybody's knickers all in a crimp. Their panties were in a crack.
I didn't hear it. I don't subscribe to go. God, Jesus, you got to listen to this. I don't subscribe to that, so I haven't heard it, and I really didn't give a shit. But I did hear about it. I did.
And then this week, two white boy rappers released a song called, I think it's called "American Flag." Yeah. Now, Jason Aldean is an okay country singer, I guess, but everybody's all in an uproar because I apparently I saw a tweet the other day where somebody was was chanting USA, USA, USA. And somebody replied on the tweet, in other parts of the world, people hate this USA, USA chant.
Sure.
Now, Kevin, I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody from America being proud of being American.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think that chanting USA, USA to let people know that you're proud to be a citizen of America. I wouldn't be offended if we were in England and the Brits were saying God save the Queen. Or if we were in other countries and they were saying
drop bears.
Vietnam. I would not be offended. I think people should be proud of where they're from.
And in Florida they scream Dixie, obviously.
But they're claiming that it's racist to say USA.
USA is racist
USA.
now? Oh,
and I'm like, how is that? I mean, because that doesn't just point at a specific racial subset of people that live in America. There are many African Americans that are proud to be American. There are gingers that are proud to be an American.
That feels racist, but all right. Why is it always got to be the gingers?
Ginger's not a race, though, Kevin. It's a curse. I'm just letting you know.
It's a curse. Oh.
But this week, these two rappers, white boy rappers, released a song called "American Flag."
Yeah.
And again, I would not criticize the song for being patriotic. I will criticize the song for being horrible.
Well, you have the right to, in the freedom of speech context,
if it was
to put out a shitty song,
patriotic and good.
Yeah,
but it's not. I mean,
it's hard to do anyway.
You know, the last really good popular radio song that was patriotic was Lee Greenwood. I'm proud to be an American. Where at least I don't know the name of it. Where at least I know I'm free. Whatever that. But yeah, I figured that would be a nice little segue and sort of a palate cleanser before we show Michael Bloomberg's tweet.
You got to do that, don't you? Why do you do that?
The progress against smoking, deaths, and illnesses would not have been possible without the partnership of the WHO and the leadership of Dr. Tedros. We've made it a truly global effort, one that saved millions of lives and will save millions more. Now, I would like you to prove that you've saved a single life, Michael Bloomberg.
I would like to point out
you're making hyperbolic comments now.
That dickhead is acting as if he's the king of the fucking world, and this progress is because of the trap fucker.
So it says here, Dr. Tedros says, you notice how I snuck the Dr. Tedros tweet after I promised there would be no more WHO tweets?
Yeah.
A new WHO report highlights that over 70% of the world's population is now protected with at least one best practice policy. That's the empowers that we talked about a while ago against deadly tobacco. So he says 70% of the world's population is now protected by at least one best practice. You want to bet that it's the tax, Kevin?
Well, of course, it's the tax.
I congratulate Mauritius on becoming the first country in Africa and the Netherlands on becoming the first in the EU to implement the full package of WHO tobacco control policies. It's odd to me that Dr. Tedros is from Ghana. I believe he's from Ghana.
I don't know.
I might need to do a Google on that, but I'm pretty sure that he's from Ghana. you would think if you were the head of the WHO that the country that you are from would be the one.
Well, it's a trap.
Right?
I don't know, Mallory. I'm interested in seeing the new numbers.
WHO stands ready to support all countries to follow these examples and protect their people from this deadly scourge. Hashtag no tobacco.
Well, Patrick, I put a tweet out, and I think it was, if you see a quote tweet under there, then hit it, because I think I did this one, and I've already proven that higher taxes for people who smoke causes more deaths.
Yes.
It increased deaths over time, and that they themselves, their own information says, well, 5 million. Well, now it's 6. Oh, now it's 8. Well, we're making progress. Mallory just said it's 8.3. I don't know. I haven't seen it physically, but I trust Mallory. So I don't understand the word protection.
On the Netherlands for becoming only the third and fourth countries globally to implement WHO's full Empower package of tobacco control measures.
So they're claiming that they're the WHO, but it was Bloomberg and Vital Strategies that created the whole thing. Yeah.
Which was frightening, just so you know.
Are proof that countries from all regions and income levels can protect health, even.
You see, protect.
Wow.
You see
No,
how that works?
I'm looking at the anatomical drawing, the anatomical poster, and with a leg missing.
Maybe he's running.
So apparently this must be like one of those countries that's always at war, and people stepping on landmines all the time has made it necessary that they have an anatomical poster drawing in their office showing somebody with a gangrenous big toe and missing a leg. Interesting.
Protect health, even in the face of overwhelming opposition from the tobacco industry. They are role models for the world. Every year, 8.7 million people.
Now, I wonder, Kevin, what infant mortality is in Mauritius.
Say that. I'm sorry. What? Say that again.
The country is called Mauritius.
Okay.
I'm wondering what the infant mortality rate is in Mauritius.
Oh, the infant mortality. I don't know.
Now I'm going to go over here in another window. Let's see. Infant mortality. Mauritius. There you go.
Mallory, the point stands, sweetheart. All I know is it's proven our point.
So the infant mortality rate in Mauritius in 2023 is 9.7 deaths per 1,000 live births.
That's pretty high.
That's fairly high.
That sounds very high.
So last year, the infant mortality rate was 10.03 deaths per 1,000. So it's gotten a little better.
Jesus.
Now that's 10 out of every 1,000 kids die. So now it's 9.7 deaths per every 1,000 live births. So
where are we?
US.
That sounds crazy.
So the US, there's 4.
It's still not good. I don't like it.
No, that's the UAE. Never mind. United States. I have to spell out United States.
I mean, there's a lot of
actually UAE is better. It's 5.5. 5.5 dead babies for every 1,000 live babies. But that was in 2022. The 2023 numbers are not present.
Okay.
Now let's see what the infant mortality rate in the UK is. It's better. It's 3.3. So, I mean, you would think a country like Mauritius that apparently has a fairly high infant mortality rate would be very more concerned about getting help from the WHO to reduce the number of dead babies than focusing on tobacco harm reduction vaping products.
No.
I mean,
No,
I'm going way out of left field on this particular. It just crossed my mind that
you're not though.
A poor country like Mauritius should be really focused on infant mortality, which would be pretty bad because they are considered a developing country. I don't like to use the word third world country because my wife is from a developing country, so I don't want to use a word that might be
the way I look at it generally, it's a general statement. If there are starving children in the world, and you can all probably are old enough to picture the one picture I'm thinking of with poor kid, then any and all efforts should be going toward that first, no matter. I don't give a fuck about anybody smoking.
Yeah,
that should be their clue.
Steve's asked about it if it's a lack of prenatal care. Well, it would be that and nutritional support for the mother,
right?
Dysentery, all sorts of things that are pretty rampant, dengue, malaria, all sorts of stuff that are commoner in those countries, all affect infant mortality rates. I really, speaking of infant mortality, I'm going to have to invite Dr. Glover because she did, there's been a study was released about infant mortality and, or not infant mortality, but smoking cessation during pregnancy, and that pregnant mothers are more successful at quitting using vaping versus smoking, even though we don't want to promote vaping in pregnancy. But
no. Of course not. That one was less
caused by tobacco.
That one was less.
The pregnancy was less challenged than the kids vaping. That's the only point I had.
Well, there was still a lot of pushback.
There was backlash. There were.
Yeah.
Including more than 1 million non-smokers who die from secondhand smoke.
So he can quote something like that
without a source,
without any sourcing, without throwing a chart up on there so that we could actually see it.
There is no source. Yeah. Do you remember what I told you?
Yes, it's made up. Junk science.
Since WHO launched Empower 15 years ago, 151 countries have introduced at least one Empower measure. But nearly 1/4 of countries are unprotected by any Empower measures. Dozens of countries still do not have smoking bans in health facilities, and only about half of the world's countries have prohibited smoking in workplaces and restaurants.
Now, what if you work in a tobacco shop?
Well,
shouldn't you be able to, use the product that people are buying?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Everybody has the right to breathe smoke-free air. We must continue to work together to fight the efforts of...
This guy pisses me off.
I think Steve wants to hurt him.
He did say he never wanted to hit a fake doctor.
Yeah, something about punching somebody. That's about enough bullshit out of you tonight, by the way, just so you know.
So it looks like Bastard might be in the Rumble chat room.
What?
Yeah. It says one Bastard.
What? I love my audience. My video is 20 minutes behind my chat. What?
That's what she said. I can't believe that because we just covered the Florida woman thing, and she was right. She was right there.
Oh, you told me to go find a tweet earlier, didn't you?
I did tell you that you need to pick another tweet out for the Rumble only section of the show.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let me see. All right. I'll just ignore you for a minute until I find out.
Go ahead.
Hey, your friend Carl blocked you, didn't he?
That was something that we were going to talk about. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I'm scrolling. That's all. I can't help it.
So speaking of, no. So there's a guy who's on that thread.
Yeah.
So because the original tweet I'm not able to see anymore because I have achieved another trophy. I have been blocked by another so-called he's a TV doctor. I don't know if he's a real doctor or not, but he's a TV doctor in Australia, Dr. Carl. All I did, there was a tweet thread, and I responded in the tweet thread, hey, I would gladly provide you guys a place to have a conversation in not on this. He's got his own podcast, Dr. Carl does.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect Colin, excuse me, to feel comfortable like going to Dr. Carl's show, but maybe he'd be willing to do the show, and I got blocked, man.
Tisk.
I got blocked. All I did,
How does that make you
like
feel?
I said, apparently he's afraid that a scientific conversation with facts might change his blind fealty to tobacco control, indoctrination, prohibitionist ideologies.
No.
Yeah. So he blocked me. And then, Colin says, thanks for trying. However, I'm not surprised. But then this communist comrade Wheeze has, he's tired of being trolled by obsessed vape addicts with a podcast to flog. Now,
Patrick, have you been flogging again?
I have not been self-flagellating, no. So I said, if he had the science and the facts to back up his statements, he would be chomping to drag Colin Mendelsohn out and show he was right. He simply doesn't have a foot to stand on, so he blocks people for pointing out how wrong he is. So then Dr. K has the science. Inhaling glycerin vapor is dangerous. He has no time for science, ignoring vape advocates. That's why you got blocked. Go sell vapes. I don't sell vapes. So then I provided science.
Of course.
So here's the study, and the link is here. I highlighted the text. All the animal studies show that no measurable harmful effects were observed with high concentrations of PG vapor, and this is fully consistent with its designation by the FDA as generally recognized as safe. In fact, PG, propylene glycol, is one of the solvents included in the FDA inactive ingredients guide for various preparations, including inhalations. Several of the animal studies employed concentrations of PG higher than the concentrations used in electronic cigarettes and did not give rise to any toxic effects. Based on animal studies that are testing at higher levels, it is safe to use PG in humans. Now, however, there are no human studies at the level of electronic cigarette concentrations. Now, this was a several-year-old study. Right. Therefore, further human studies using PG concentrations similar to that in electronic cigarettes need to be conducted to confirm the safety. So they hedge their bets, which
that is actually what I agree to.
Most scientists do. Now, obviously, we check with animals first. They checked at concentrations substantially higher than what people would vape. However, we're fairly confident in saying that they're safe for inhalation because we've been studying this since the 1940s. In the 1940s, they did Tuskegee-like experimentation on African-American soldiers in their barracks without anyone knowing, and no one got sick or died or had any problems with the PG, even though they did the study surreptitiously. So it is, so anyway, this dummy So this guy, he's on our side. He posts a picture of a cricket. So this guy here comes back and says nothing to say to that after the last two sentences debunk any safety of claim or any claim of safety. I would have thought vapors wouldn't post stuff that destroys their own arguments. It does not destroy the argument. I know I do. It's over here. I'm not going to click on it right now. So, again, I have to reassert myself. And I say, I'm concerned that the educational system has failed you if your reading comprehension is so poor. Rodent, mice, rat studies are the standard scientific protocol to test for toxins and respiratory cardiovascular research due to the ability to pare down or to size up results to compare to human physiology. No researcher is going to skip hedging their bets or skip out on the opportunity for grant money to conduct more research.
That's right.
So Commander Weiss thinks that I negated the argument by including the text that says that human studies need to be done. The last two sentences do nothing of the sort. The last two sentences simply state that although animal testing has shown no damage or danger at levels beyond those in vaping, more intensive human studies should be conducted to ensure those results. Those tests have been done and verify that PG is safe for inhalation. PG is anhydrous and does dehydrate tissues if not properly hydrated, and is considered an irritant but causes no long-term damage.
Hydrate.
Yeah, that's also the other thing is that there's stories going around about vape tongue, Kevin.
Yeah.
Lots of those are going around.
It's okay.
But yeah, this comrade Wheeze, I'm assuming since he's claiming to be a comrade that he is essentially admitting that he's a communist.
Hard telling.
Yeah. But,
well, he must love Carl. Who knows?
Lots of people get blocked. Sam Rat, who's been on the show. Two issues here. While it could be Dr. Carl doesn't want to engage, there could also be fear of being ostracized by his funders and peers for simply talking to the tobacco harm reduction side. Also framed as the anti-Bloomberg Truth WHO side, Tobacco Tactics could list his name just for engaging. And
you're on a list.
Redfern's blocked. Juka says that he was blocked.
As was I.
So
yeah, Juka's I think blocked.
Yeah. So
and
other than the comrade guy, everybody in here has been intelligent, able to make a point without. This guy here got insulting. Like he didn't engage with a scientific argument. He just wants to call us addicts and drug dealers.
Well, my son had asthma.
But yes, I am gladly blocked by Dr. Carl now.
I assume the nebulizer, I think it was called. He had to sit there for half an hour with it in his mouth for, whatever. He'd watch Barney. And I'm assuming that I didn't even ask the doctor, what's in that? I just said, that'll help. They said, yeah. And I said, okay, good. Yeah. It probably had VG, PG, whatever. I never thought twice about it. In this world, in this realm, it's the stage smoke and the ice rinks and the all the things that I've read over the years in the vape shows where they've tested air, whatever. So
yeah, but that's I don't have a lot of free time to be on Twitter, even though I love Twitter, but
X
or X, yes.
Yeah.
There. I have read my message now. Thank you for pointing out I have an unread message.
Oh. It's all right. Everything will be fine.
Yeah. So you felt it was important that you shared a link with me.
Just call him.
No, we already did Colin last week. I'm not doing it again. Go back to last week and watch their last show.
No.
Because I shared video of him talking about it, and then you shared the print article of the video.
Oh, I thought it was a tweet. I forget.
Yeah.
I guess you'll show me.
Well, no, I'm going to show you this. Montana vape shops join effort to reduce fatal opioid overdoses because it's harm reduction, boys and girls. Locations in Helena and Butte began offering Narcan at no cost. Now, Kevin, before we get into the article too much, why would vape shops be offering Narcan other than the fact that it's a harm reduction tool and we promote harm reduction? Because we know the clientele of vape shops, not all of them, but a good percentage of them are probably suffering from some other issues.
Nice,
we do know that 60% of all cigarettes smoked are by people that are suffering from some sort of mental illness. And according to psychological evaluations, addiction is one of those mental illnesses that gets you put into that category. Now, I don't know this guy. Evan Brashears is the manager of Queen's Palace Vapes in Helena. It says, an employee lost a friend. He was 17, and it was just Evan Brashears' voice trailed off. He looked out the window of Queen's Palace, the vape shop he manages in Helena. The afternoon sun streamed in wide and bright. Cases of sparkling glass and glowing neon lined the perimeter. Candy-colored vapes and bright cellophane packages colored the walls. See how they wanted, even in a positive article, they still got to throw in the candy-colored. We've all got some story of recovery. We've all lost people to opiates, Brashear noted or continued. It just seems like the right thing to do. So, according to the state and county officials, Queen's Palace is the first vape shop of its kind in Montana to become a naloxone distributor. The initiative was the brainchild of Brashears and Tia Noreen, the manager of Queen's Palace location in Butte. Naloxone is the generic name of a drug commonly known by its brand name, Narcan. The drug rapidly reverses the effects of an opioid overdose. Here at the shop, we're like the land of misfit toys. We've all been through it. We haven't had anything handed to us, and we understand the struggle, Noreen told the Montana Free Press. That's what makes this place such a good fit. While opioid use has fallen nationwide, fatal overdoses are rapidly rising. After a decade-long decline, overdose deaths in Montana spiked 39% post-COVID and reached an all-time nationwide high of 109. The comma is in the wrong place. I'm assuming that's 1,096,802. The comma is in the wrong. Sorry, Montana guys, but you need to fix your comma. In 2022, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, experts point to the ubiquity of fentanyl, a synthetic opioid 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine. Jason McNeese, head of the Helena Indian Alliance Medication for Opioid Use Disorder Program, sees it firsthand. I personally hear of 30 to 50 overdoses annually. Just as the state began to get oxycodone under control, fentanyl emerged. It's far more powerful and far more deadly. It's bad, Brashears agreed. Heroin, MDMA, cocaine, it's all cut with fentanyl. I don't understand the logic in that, Kevin. Does that make it? I mean, if you're going to cut your expensive drugs, why would you cut it with another expensive drug? Why wouldn't you cut it with something that was in baking soda or, cheap? Unless you're charging a premium for that. Same with prescription drugs. Some don't work. Some kill you immediately. That harrowing reality was confirmed in a new study by the CDC, the National Public Health Agency, in showing opioids played a role in 80% of cocaine overdoses and 65% of overdose deaths involving stimulants in 2021. While naloxone has been on the market since 1971, it wasn't widely acceptable until 2016 when the FDA approved an intranasal applicator. Since that time, most states have passed naloxone access laws. The laws authorize standing prescriptions for naloxone so individuals, companies, and government agencies can order the drug free of charge. The last time I bought a naloxone, it was not free.
I didn't get it for free at the hospital from my wife either.
In states with naloxone access, opioid overdose deaths have decreased by 14%, according to a national study, and that number could be higher. Studies show that bystanders are present at 1 in 3 overdoses involving opiates. Naloxone is easy to use, and the applicator is the size of an AirPod case. I have to look at my case. This is not an AirPod case, but yeah. Naloxone, yeah. But the wide-scale distribution has encountered obstacles, yes. A lot of times you'll hear this is replacing one drug for another. That's not what it does at all. I think it's just a lack of education. The one thing it does is reverse the effects of opiates in the brain, he added. Kelly McBride, director of the Lewis and Clark County Department of Criminal Justice Services, agreed. It doesn't hurt to have it. Doesn't hurt to administer it. The more Narcan we have in the community, the better opportunity we have to save that life. And if you save that life, you can point that person towards treatment, which is true. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you guys all understand what Narcan does and why it's important, especially as another harm reduction tool that we can keep in the toolbox. Because that's important.
That they're largely ignoring.
Yes. I mean, I think if you save someone's life, then they should be your slave until they repay you.
I don't know about that, but
yeah, yeah, Kevin, sure,
sure.
So I'm going to go back now because you highlighted a response to one of my tweets, but you didn't show how awesome my tweet was.
I read your tweet,
but you didn't say how awesome it was.
No.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So here's my original tweet. So the idea is to be a little snarky here.
Yes.
Make a so-called safer product that contains exactly the same carcinogenic, poisonous chemicals, VLN cigarettes, that the deadly product it's supposed to replace, cigarettes, while at the same time attacking, demonizing, and attempting to reduce the use of an actual safer nicotine alternative. Vaping. Sounds like 22nd Century is getting everything they deserve. Regardless of what FDA tobacco says, their product still potentially causes cancer. They admit the carcinogens are there. They acknowledge the nicotine does not cause cancer. And they chose to reduce nicotine instead of all the other things that will kill people. Sounds like a brilliant business model. Now, the link here, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. The link here is to an article that is basically telling everybody that 22nd Century is going out of business. So, losing millions, 22nd Century's hopes for a new kind of cigarette are going up in smoke. So it says here, the window of financial and manufacturing opportunities for 22nd Century Group and its very low nicotine traditional cigarettes may be closing before it was ever allowed to fully open. Because the only people that bought those fucking cigarettes, Kevin, was the FDA.
Well, they spent some money.
They spent millions and millions of dollars pre-buying these fucking VLNs. They dropped a chunk of money on it, a couple millions of dollars. So
nobody wants to know that.
That's the perspective from several tobacco industry analysts after 22nd Century announced last week the appointment of John Miller as interim chief executive. It's the fifth full-time or interim chief executive since July of 2019. So they've gone through five CEOs in 4 years. 22nd Century, based in Buffalo, has its cigarette manufacturing operation in a 62,000 square foot plant in Mocksville.
That's appropriate.
Yeah, Mocksville's, where it has between 45 and 40 or 51 employees.
They can't count?
Yeah. So Michelle Elliott says it was $100 million grant from the FDA.
Well,
22nd Century also disclosed last week an undefined cost reductive initiative expected to cut expenses by $15 million annually, equivalent to about 26% of its $58.3 million fiscal 2022 operating expenses. The goal is to simplify operations as it continues to tighten its focus on key end markets and operating strategies. That's on top of 22nd Century recently completing a 1 to 15 reverse stock to lift its share price from 30 cents. So they padded their own. You see what they manipulated the cost of their own stock to increase the value of the company. That risky decision was done to regain NASDAQ compliance of a $1 share price listing minimum.
It's all in the wording and it's all in the numbers.
Yep. So they had to artificially change the value of their company because their stocks were below the $1 per share limit for them to be traded on the NASDAQ exchange.
They're not doing
then there's been at least 3 private investor stock offerings with increasingly diminishing gross and net profits. They made $40 million in June of 2021, 35 in June. Oh, these are all like sweetheart donations to their company. Investments. So in 2021, somebody invested $40 million in them. In July of 2022, somebody else gave $35 million investment. And in July of 24, this year, 11.7 million. That's all in contrast to April 2021. 22nd Century was at peak hype level given an unexpected FDA rule mandating reduced nicotine cigarettes sometime in 2022, said Clive Bates of Counterfactual, a London-based public health and sustainability consultancy. The FDA and other federal health agencies until recently has been a primary revenue source for 22nd Century, and buying VLN cigarettes in bulk is part of experimental initiatives. 22nd Century has also produced private label traditional cigarettes with typical nicotine levels. So they're doing store brand cigarettes with regular amounts of nicotine for their clients as well.
It's Spirit, isn't it? Spirit?
No,
it's not them. Yeah, they actually, I think they had a high nicotine cigarette a while back, if I remember correctly.
I don't know.
I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
Yeah. With the FDA plans as a selling point to investors, 22nd Century stock price rose to an all-time high of 91.05. So in April 30th of 2021, they were selling at $91.05 per share, and now, now it's $3. They were down to like 60 cents.
Yeah,
that was a huge drop.
Well, I don't know what to say. Well, I do know this, that in 2018, not just a couple, there was an FDA letter. All of the major health health, in air quotes, groups, nonprofit political front groups, all said this needs to be done immediately, along with some of the other experts in the field. So, they love this. They thought this was the best thing since, cigarettes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And the proposed rule that would require nicotine, lowering nicotine concentrations in combustible cigarettes, hasn't been introduced yet. They won't issue a reduced nicotine rule until December, if not in 2024 at some point.
Yeah.
So again, they're saying that the selling point is that these cigarettes, very low nicotine products, are touted as containing 95% less nicotine, and that it's So if you're smoking full, regular cigarettes and you go to unleaded and it's 95% less nicotine, how long do you think you're going to smoke that before you go back to the regulars? Because
potential.
I mean, there should have. I mean, an intelligent person would have said, "Well, let's cut the nicotine in half, and let's also offer a 95% less nicotine that gives them a stepping stone."
Well, an intelligent person, honestly, Patrick, no offense intended to you specifically, an intelligent person would say, well, it's not the nicotine, you fucks. Why do you have to be fucked, all of you? It's nothing to do with nicotine. We just discussed Jared's tweet. Nothing to do with nicotine.
No, Mallory, they have 95% less nicotine. 100% of all of the bad stuff is still there. They admitted it.
They answered my question on a tweet.
Kevin tweeted them and asked, well, does it have 95% less of the bad stuff? And they're like, nope, all the regular stuff.
Mallory, you've never seen that tweet?
I don't know if she's
screenshot.
That may not have been a question. That might have been just a statement.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Which I had 100%. Already stated in my tweet that it has 100%. All of the other bad stuff. And they chose to reduce the one thing that doesn't cause cancer.
In fact, I asked at the time CEO, Twitter fuck, I said, so show me the nicotine, show me some of your science and your data, because I was doing my little challenge, nobody cared about, but nobody, proved themselves right either. It was a statement, right? I said, show me the nicotine addiction thing without tobacco. And he said, I can't find it, but you can go to the MSA trove of information. He himself, the CEO, couldn't tell me anything.
And probably that's why he got fired.
Well, see, there you go. Stop answering them bots, you bastard, and you're fired. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they want you to quit. Oh, you smoke. Well, we want you to quit. Here's some more cigarettes. Oh.
But Bastard over in the Rumble chat, he says now they can say they have put a cigarette company out of business.
There you go. That's a very good point.
And then he says that I want more slaves. Of course, I want to save lots of people's lives and make them my servants until they pay me back for the debt of saving their lives. Like in the movie, they have to save my life and then they're free. Morgan Freeman and Prince of Thieves saved Kevin Costner and then had to follow Kevin Costner around until he saved his life and paid back the debt. That's what we could have literally, 4 or 5 people always following us around, Kevin, and willing to take a bullet for us that would be awesome.
Well, but see, on the other hand, what they could try to kill us and then save our lives. That would be bad.
Yeah.
Careful who you wish for.
Exactamundo. let's see, what else do I have over here?
$100 million. $100 million.
So I'm gonna be a little snarky now, Kevin.
Oh, good.
And I'm gonna accidentally friendly fire one of our friends.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Because he won't come on the show. So I'm gonna friendly fire him.
Friendly fire.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have to.
All right.
So Greggy.
Yeah.
Greggy says they're really doing it. They're just straight up arguing for a prohibition of all consumer nicotine products. Now, Kevin,
what?
We pointed out over a year ago that Truth changed their mission statement on their website from a smoke-free future to a nicotine-free future.
You know, I've been waiting and wanting and hoping that they would start banning fucking carrots. So this is a good thing.
I mean, we told you when it happened that they did it.
We done told you, people.
But Greggy hasn't been watching the show, apparently. As much as we love him, I really can't believe that he's this far behind, that he's just now noticed that they changed their mission statement.
I think he's being facetious, but that's okay.
It might be. You know, he's a very dry.
Throwing him under the bus. You know,
he has a very dry personality, except when he's like in like the presence of like professional wrestlers. Then his eyes light up like a little boy.
Well, yeah, he's like he's a kid. I heard.
You see joy, you can see, you know. But if you ever sit down with him, you can't really tell because his delivery's very flat.
Yeah, I had a very brief encounter with him in Milwaukee.
He's
brief.
Love him to death. Don't get me wrong. I like to pick on him a little bit, but he does have a sort of flat affect. But anyway, Truth Initiative says in their tweet here, it's time to shift mindsets from controlling tobacco to ending it. Educate public and policymakers on concept, urge local and national action, push FDA for regulation, hold tobacco industry accountable. A nicotine-free future is a game changer. Now, this sounds exactly like the Empower stuff, except not the Empower stuff.
I quoted this very tweet, if you don't mind. I had my own talking points. Oh, there's a few now. Oh, good. I saw Greg's. I like his.
And there's Grim.
There's Big Grim. There's me.
So it says here, you've changed it to shift mindsets from controlling tobacco to removing adult freedoms and liberties. Gaslight the public and policymakers on our concepts. There's a channel that I watch, and it's a guy, the channel on YouTube, he's the Metatron, and he does history videos. Yeah. Like he does videos about ancient history and, but he recently did a video where he was criticized. People were criticizing him because he's from Italy. He's Italian. And that he shouldn't be making videos about African history because that's our history, not ours, but according to the commenters, you're a white guy. You shouldn't be doing videos about African history because you're not African.
What?
This is not. And they also said that history was a sexist word because it had HIS in front.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is where you're talking about our concepts, our truths. You always hear people say, our truths and your truth. No, there's only the truth.
Correct.
And there's only.
Hey, I think you're trying to compliment me.
I might be. Control local, national propaganda. Use NGO status to influence politics for regulation. Deny accountability for socio-political opinions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's right.
So there is no reason for the U.S. government or government employees and officials to consider any nonprofit political front groups' advice, unqualified diagnosis, questionable pseudoscience, socio-political talking points, demands, or orders of any kind for any reason in order to dictate we the people.
I did that all by myself. Look at that.
I'm surprised, but
I just figured I'd brag.
Nobody's replied to your shit, man.
I know nobody cares.
All right, I'll retweet it.
All right,
they're here. Yeah.
By golly, look at that! He retweeted me.
Yeah.
It's you. I like that. Oh, there's some trouble. Look at.
Yeah, Southern Vapors dropping in here. Do you see that?
Looky there.
Dale, Addie, Southern again with a whole bunch of pictures. Juka, Addie again, Michael Redford. All of our friends are right in this shit. Look at this.
Hashtag Eric Gardner.
Addie. What are you? Are you retweeting Jared from my thread, Kevin?
But not you.
I see what you did there.
That's a good tweet. Yours was all right. His was good. I really appreciated the way he worded that. That's all.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
They already like the low nicotine. They're the ones that want more low nicotine.
Mm-hmm.
I already know they know. They're in the damn letter.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle cares. See, she cares. Michelle.
Yeah.
It's all in the wording, Patrick. It really is.
Yep. Here, let me go over here. I have to do this real quick.
And who is this Traveler 919? I gotta look. I'm going to ignore you now.
So now I'm slapping the X marks the spot.
Yeah.
From the Rumble. That's the link to the Rumble broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
We will be saying sayonara and goodnight to everybody on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. And we will be exclusively over on Rumble for the last few minutes of tonight's show. Isn't that nice? So I'm going to play a short. I'm not even going to let Kevin say goodnight to you assholes. The only way you're going to get a good night.
Hey!
The only way you're going to get a good night is to join us in the Rumble. See how mean I am?
I am not a part of that statement. I'm just here for the food.
Yeah. The food. There's food? I didn't bring the tacos. The tacos are in the kitchen. They're not in the office.
I thought we were having pie tonight. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm gonna play the Big Brother ending right now.
Fine. Good night, folks.
So all the cool kids that want to come over here and spend a few minutes over on Rumble, come over there because we might have some. There. We can say stuff that we can't say here over there. I do enjoy the freedom of doing that.
I won't even know the difference, will I?
No.
Oh, good.
All right.
That keep me uncomfortable.
Come over here. I threw the link in the chat. Come over here.
The question: how does one man assert power over another? Obedience is not enough. Power is inflicting pain and humiliation, otherwise you cannot be sure. Power is tearing human minds apart and putting them together again in new shapes of your own choosing. Power is not a means, it is an end. All competing pleasures we will destroy. If you want a vision of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever.